Chapter 4487. Chapter 4487. Before the dragon flies to the distance, the remedy in the hands has begun to struggle. As I have already expected my own destiny, I am extremely unwilling. Even on the medicinal herbs, the power of the mountains and seas directly turned into a road, and broke out from the hands of Longfei. It seems that I want to smash the ***** of Longfei to free freedom. Well, Dan medicine has become refined. Longfei hearted a glimpse. In the past, this was not the case. But this time, the induction is particularly strong. It's useless. You created it by Lao Tzu. Now you want to break away from the control of Lao Tzu? It doesn't exist. Struggling is useless. Realize your value. Longfei's eyes are more and more intense. This took Tiandan and gave him no small surprise. The faint power is the force that struggles in his hands at this time. It is not weaker than the flow of Wang Yudong. If it is really integrated, Longfei has the confidence to make the world's Longfei reborn and sanctify. As soon as I read this, Longfei no longer hesitated. Step by step to the **** figure on the ground, and then press the hand to directly integrate the Tiandan into his body. More than that, Longfei is condensing a drop of blood into it. Since it is a change, it is more thorough. Longfei thought of it. He didn't know if his blood was useful. After all, the world's Longfei has no dragon blood, just an ordinary mortal body. Although his own blood is very powerful, he is not sure whether he can be used by him. As for saying that now this body can withstand such violent power, Longfei does not care. Because the power of this magic bonegrass is used to neutralize, and then the power of violent, cannot resist this breath. Even if it is Shanghai Avenue, it has to converge. Therefore, Longfei will choose the power of the night, as the most important main medicine. And now, everything is ready. The next moment, Longfei will also force the power of blood into the body of the dragon Longfei. Boom! In an instant, a shocking burst of blood bursts directly into the figure of Longfei. At this moment, the figure of Longfei seems to be turned into a *********. The power of a road broke out above the body. And Longfei is motionless and looks at it. Now, it is a process of integration. Cheng, then step into the sky. If you lose, then the gods will disappear. Longfei believes that in the world's own self, making choices, the moment of climbing, it is already ready. Therefore, at this moment, Longfei is no longer shot. The night child is also a word, looking at the blood in front of him, and looking at Longfei, thinking a little in the eyes. In this way, time passes by. In the twinkling of an eye, it is 3 days. In 3 days, this blood stasis has not been reduced, but has become more and more inflated. Even the entire Shanghai zone outside the door, because of this ***** power, has become a blood-red color. On the 4th day, the ***** rushed through the land of cultivation, forcibly plundering the endless power of heaven and earth. In the entire outer door, all the spiritual power was swallowed up, and all of them poured into this blood. On this day, all the people in the outer gates and inner doors of the Shanhaizong stopped practicing. Not wanting to, but there is no aura for you to cultivate. On the 5th day, the whole mountain was up and down, and between the 2 days, the aura was exhausted, and even the core area was not spared. On the 6th day, the whole ***** scorpion turned into a whirlpool. Endless devouring power, all the spirit-related breath, are swallowed up. On this day, even the Lianshan Haizong masters have been alarmed, and will bring down the heavy fairy and so on. Budget, too confusing. This sect used Shan Haizong's heritage, for him to cast a place of practice, he is not satisfied, but also to display means, devour endless aura, this is the end of the household. Shanhai Zongzhu violent. I want to shoot, but I am blocked by Yang Li and the elders. The Lord is angry, this aura is only being swallowed up, and it will take a long time to recover. And, he was so strong before, is it so crazy to cultivate now, isn't it stronger? If we force the shot, I am afraid that it will not be worth the loss. Yang Li is crazy to discourage. The heart is jumping wildly, for fear that the mountain sea lord can't help but will shoot. Yeah, This child is now invisible. It is good to say that it is good, or be careful. Shan Haizong said to the elders too. This is the end of the mountain sea lord, and looked at the aura that was swallowed by madness, and the heart was bleeding. But nothing can be done. I can only watch it. On the 7th day, this power of engulfing finally disappeared. And Longfei only looked at the blood in front of him, and felt the strong atmosphere contained in it. I am Nima, everything before, is it just that I have accumulated strength? The transformation has not yet begun. Even Longfei can't help but ruin. He thought that when the power was swallowed up, it was the time of smashing. But now it seems that it is still too far. At least, for now, this is only the completion of the initial energy accumulation. The real transformation has not yet begun. At this time, the Night Child gathered and said, "It seems that your remedy is really capable of capturing the sky. Light is the aura that has been swallowed up these days. It is enough for a person to go from scratch to reach the world. Combining this mountain and sea, there is still my strength. Maybe you can create a rebellious existence." Night Child Mai said, a little more dignified in the words. Longfei sinks. Did not answer immediately. Looking at the blood in front of me is also thinking about it. Transforming the world itself into a super powerful existence, in the heart of Longfei, it is a kind of sustenance. After all, the dragon of this world is a flat life, but it has a strong heart, like the truest portrayal of the year. Even in the heart of Longfei, there is still a feeling, just like helping yourself, there is no sense of disobedience. But now, the Night Child is a word, but it makes Longfei more doubtful. If, after the transformation, he is stronger than me, suddenly, Longfei has such a kind of thinking in his heart. If it was before, Longfei would not have such doubts. However, since the night of another character, Mai Long said that Long Ba Tian also lost, Longfei was thinking, will there be another dragon in this world, and then he will be done. Now, the dragon flying in the metamorphosis is too violent, so Longfei's heart will give birth to such concerns. But worries will worry, Longfei will not deliberately interrupt, and will not make any small moves. His pride is not allowed. Immediately, Longfei's eyes are condensed. Since I did it, I have no concerns. I hope that the goal of Laozi is to correct the world. And you are just one part of my plan. There is nothing to worry about. Longfei thought of it and forced the thoughts in his heart to be suppressed. Chapter 4489. Chapter 4489. It's never been the style of Longfei to find troubles for things that never happened. Plan ahead, but it won't cause trouble. Especially for the speculation in front of him, Longfei feels more redundant. Even if things really become an uncontrollable degree, Longfei asks himself, as long as he is strong enough, Juliu can also suppress. Thinking of this, all the thoughts in Longfei's heart certainly do not exist, leaving only one thought. That is the retreat. In front of me, this change, I don't know how long to wait, but the opening of Tongxian Road is only 20 days left. Prior to this, Longfei had a plan. That is the exploration of the power of eternal life. One thought of this, Longfei's gaze once again looked at the Night Child, and the Night Child is also a word, this time, gave birth to the induction, and Longfei's gaze touched in the void. Without any explanation, Longfei waved. The stone gate of a retreat opened open. Before the power you passed to me can awaken my power of silence. The next period of time, maybe we have to retreat in a secret room. You? Longfei asked tentatively. Although the bright face is the Night Child is already his person. But in fact, Longfei knows clearly that it is just for others to see. Therefore, it is still somewhat concealed to retreat now. If the knight is not willing, Longfei will not be stubborn. What makes Longfei unexpected is that the Night Child Mai did not even think about it, and nodded directly to agree. Exactly, I also feel that your strength is extremely special, it seems to complement my strength, I also want to explore the mystery. Night Child Mai said. After that, I looked at the blood, according to this trend, I want to integrate these forces together, I am afraid it will take some time. And my strength can speed up this process. Night Child said, with his hands on a stroke, a strange trace, presented directly in his hand. This trajectory is as vast as a galaxy. Give people a feeling that they can't be disobedient and supreme. It is Longfei, and at the moment, there are some strange things in my heart. Even the body of creation is a little tight. It seems that between the moments of the night, I feel the sense of crisis. A picture of the world. Longfei was shocked. In the mind, there are inexplicable ancient legends on the earth. At that time, Fuxi painted the world. Nowadays, the means of Nightchild charm directly gives Longfei such a sense of sight. It seems that the origin of the Nightchild is probably more powerful than I thought. Longfei must have thought of it. But at this time, there is no time to consider this. I saw the knight's hand swaying constantly, like the command, a layer of pattern on the blood. With the appearance of this pattern, the whole **** began to turn crazy, and the power of violent power broke out. But unlike before, this power is constantly restrained. It seems that it is generally absorbed in the accelerated operation. At this time, the Nightchild stopped. Well, according to this speed, it should be half a month. You can succeed, breakthrough. Nightchild said. Longfei nodded. Half a month, enough. Half a month's time is just the bottom line set in Longfei's mind. No matter whether the power of eternal life can be explored, Longfei must go out after half a month. Tongxian Road is about to open, and he needs to be the first to be opposite. Intuition tells him that he will help him with the help of the Emperor, and he has his own plot. One thought of this, Longfei and the Nightchild looked at each other and then walked directly into the secret room. Time flies, in the blink of an eye, directly past 7 days. In the 7 days of the time, Longfei did not sleep, that is, the same night. It's not going to be affected if it's done to them. However, now both of them are in a state of high load, and all the minds are immersed in them, so consumption is directly the power of the mind. Even the soul feels a little bit inadequate. Especially Longfei, double-eyed Scarlet, seems to be in the magic. No, it still doesn't work. How could this be? Come back. Longfei bites his teeth. The spirit of madness and general stimulation wants to dispatch the power of eternal life from the sea of knowledge. However, there is no response at all. Even the constant temptation of the power of the night, there is no response at all. In the 7 days of the night, because of the constant output of power, the whole person has become depressed and the atmosphere is disordered. But Longfei is still insisting. The Nightchild sighed slightly, shook his head, and directly opened his chest. The system took out the bones of the dazzling gold. And at this moment, the long-eyed scarlet dragon flies, as if to see an extremely eager existence. The eyes are directly fixed in the hands of this knight. Give me. Longfei sounds hoarse. Extremely eager. Even the tone has become a bit gloomy. There was some dodge in the night, and she said, Dragon, you wake up. You have been enchanted. I took out the bones of the sky and I want you to wake up. Nightchild said, with a bit of disappointment in his eyes. But there are also some distressed and helpless. Longfei's arrogance has already been seen, but nowadays, in order to promote himself, it is influenced by his mind, which is undoubtedly a shame. She feels that it is not as strong as a dragon. The more so, the more she wants to let Longfei wake up. Wake up. I am sober now. Tiangu. Just right. In this case, give me the bones in your hands. Longfei continued. Among the scarlet eyes in the eyes, the light of bloodthirsty is flashing. It was like a hungry wolf and saw the prey. But the knight's charming eyes were flashing at this time, and the hands of the heavens were lifted, and a little golden light appeared, directly facing the dragon and flying away. In an instant, Longfei simply couldn't respond, and this power went straight into the body. And Longfei's eyes are directly restored to this moment at this moment. The scarlet color disappeared. But again, Longfei's line of sight is gradually blurring. The whole person seems to have lost consciousness and fell down heavily. At the moment when Longfei fell, the Nightchild put the bones back into the body, and then, directly, fainted. For a time, the entire cultivation room has become silent. However, Longfei's lingering knowledge is still closed, and everything in his mind can still be clearly perceived. I was so embarrassed. Longfei woke up. The heart is extremely embarrassing. I feel that I have done something too much. Looking at the night child who has been fainted in the past, Long Fei's heart is hidden, and there is an impulse to pity. Immediately, Long Fei manipulated consciousness and wanted to return to the body. However, at this moment, a little light appeared directly from the Ling Tai, and immediately wrapped up in the consciousness of Long Fei, falling toward the endless darkness. Chapter 4490. Chapter 4490. A golden light swept through, and the consciousness of Long Fei also fell into the endless darkness. Under the traction of this light, Long Fei is difficult to control. No matter how Long Fei struggles, he can't break free. In the blink of an eye, the endless darkness of time and space whizzed past Long Fei's eyes. And Long Fei, this time also understands that here is his own knowledge of the sea. Time, I don't know how long it has passed. Long Fei finally realized that all the forces that clinged to the soul of God disappeared. Even the golden light disappeared. Long Fei's eyelids are heavy, but he knows that he can't continue to sink. Wave. Long Fei struggled and his eyes opened. The scene that appeared in front of him directly shocked Long Fei. In the ridiculous, a khaki-colored ancient dragonfly appeared in front of Long Fei. Eternal life. Long Fei's face changed. At the beginning, Yongsheng was awakened, but when he entered the Temple of Eternal Life, he disappeared. Long Fei remembers that this kind of power, even the system was helpless, and even almost stripped the system out of life. Finally, it can only be cleared and restarted. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart is moving. Eternal life, is it always in the depths of my soul, the incarnation of the existence of particles? As soon as I heard it, Long Fei's heart was full of horror. Because from the past, that eternal life can be said to be a person. Otherwise, I could not enter the Temple of Eternal Life at the beginning. It is also in the Hall of Eternal Life that Long Fei has changed altogether and transformed into the Lord of Eternal Life. It seems that the power of the Night Child is really inextricably linked with the power of eternal life. I can send my consciousness into the depths of the sea and find eternal life. Long Fei is slightly indulged. I thought that before I was crazy about my attitude towards the night, my heart was inevitably a move and I felt embarrassed. Since you have spared no effort to help me, then I am flying, not a person who does not understand gratitude. Your business, I am wrapped up. Besides, such a big beauty, it is even more impossible to refuse. Long Fei thought of it. Immediately, the eyes turn and lock the eternal life. At this moment, Long Fei completely believes that before the system prompts, the eternal power of the restored line is brewed from this eternal life. The biggest possibility for Long Fei to explore the power of eternal life is to unravel the mystery of eternal life. As soon as I read this, Long Fei slowly approached. Every time you approach a distance, Long Fei can feel that a familiar rhythm appears above his heart. It seems that an inexplicable implicature is bringing his soul and the eternal life in front of him. Long Fei keeps pace and walks step by step. But as we get closer and closer, Long Fei can feel every step of the way, and there is a constant roar in the eternal life. The shock is above my heart. Just like the heartbeat in your body, the rhythm is generally the same. Paperweight, Long Fei can feel that his heartbeat is also in the middle of the coffin. This feeling is extremely subtle. However, Long Fei can feel that with the consistency of the heart rhythm, he can more clearly feel the power transmitted from the eternal life. Expansive, but it is extremely powerful. It is like a worship of all beings, everything is bowed. Eternal life, no one, no life, no life. In an instant, Long Fei's heart burst into such a concept. As soon as Yongsheng was just awakened, he had already confirmed this sentence. Nowadays, it is so convincing that Long Fei feels this power. The power of eternal life is supreme. For a time, I was more convinced that Long Fei's heart was determined to get this power. Immediately, Long Fei gritted his teeth, no worries, and one strand walked toward the eternal life. Soon, as time goes by, Long Fei has come to the vicinity of Yongsheng, far away from Yongsheng, but only a few steps away. But at this time, Long Fei's footsteps suddenly stopped. A sense of fear that is unwarranted comes directly to the heart of Long Fei. Brush. Long Fei's face changed greatly. You know, this is his knowledge of the sea, the depths of his soul. If there is danger here, then it means that this danger is within his soul. System. In an instant, Longfei thought locked on the system. Because at the beginning, the eternal life is not compatible with the system. Moreover, behind the system, there is always a strong tentacle in control. I rub, it will not be that the system now realizes that I want to dig into the power of eternal life, and start to resist. Longfei was shocked. If it is like this, that's still playing a fart. Although the power of eternal life is strong, if you let Longfei choose, you will not hesitate to choose the system. Under the further perception of Longfei, no abnormalities were found. There are also no prompts on the system. No, if it is a system, it will not prompt the waking of the power of eternal life, just eviction. But it is not a system, but who else? Longfei's heart is sinking, and in the last few steps, he will not step on it. He has a feeling that if he steps out these few, I am afraid there will be something unknown. But at this time, a force, directly sweeping the dragonfly brain, seems to be urging Longfei to move on. And Longfei, at this time, was also alert, a familiar name, once again in his mind. Dragon Ba Tian, Dragon Tyrants. I can't think of you or the thief is not dead. Longfei snorted. The eyes are also cold. At this moment, he is extremely sure. The source of the crisis is Longbation. And as the sound of Longfei fell, a scale inadvertently appeared, flashing a cold light. Waste, you waste. The power is in front, it is prohibitive. My dragon, how come you have this waste thing? Thinking about you is also really pitiful. After practicing to the present, countless planes have reached out to this world level. I really don't know how the person of the supreme plane chooses your waste. Long Ba Tian's voice appeared through the dragon scales came out. Even in the depths of his own knowledge, Longfei is also very clear. Dragon Ba Tian. Return again. Waste. Longfei lips lightly, repeat. If someone else says 2 words, Longfei will not care. But at this time, in the Longba Tianko, it was said that the impact on Longfei was great. But change, Longfei smiled. Haha, dragon fighter, you are really ridiculous. Is Laozi a waste? Laozi is a waste that is still alive now. What about you? There are more ways to arrange, how many years of layout, how can it be for millions of years? The same is a dead man. No, dead dragon. Even if it is in this continent, it is the same. If you lost in the past, then you should look at Laozi. How is Laozi's Suzheng and chaos? Chapter 4491. Chapter 4491 Longfei said with determination. For him, there is never a compromise. Even if it is a dragon, it can't be done. Despite the fact that Longfei has grown up to the present, to a large extent, it is inseparable from Longba. But this does not mean that he will be grateful to him. Because the virtues of Longbation are based on a premise. That is the benefit. Up to now, Longfei has long concluded that Longbation's identity is definitely the same as himself, and is a system owner. And all the layouts of Dragon Ba Tian are just trying to seize the system on their own. Therefore, for Longbation, Longfei's heart is grateful, but will not make fun of his own life. Especially at this moment, the timing of the emergence of Longbation is too clever, even in the case of his own ignorance, to the depths of his own knowledge. I am afraid, if it is not without absolute certainty, Longbation has already been unable to hold back, and erased his consciousness, and then replaced it. Thinking of this, the smile on Longfei's face has become even more cold. Longbation, saying more is nonsense. I will open the eternal life, but I have a wool relationship with you. Now, I am going back to Dantian, otherwise I don't mind smashing this dragon scale completely. With a cold cry, Longfei's will began to condense, staring coldly at the dragon scales floating in the void. At this time, on the scales, the dawn reappears. Kid, you will regret it. Do you think that destroying the dragon scale will stop me from returning? Non-existent. One day you will know that everything you do is just a wedding dress for me. Long Tian sweet sneered, and then disappeared in an instant, sinking in the dragon scales, disappeared. And the dragon scale, in this moment is also directly hidden from the dragon's knowledge of the sea. At this point, Long Fei regained his mind and revisited the eternal life. Looking at the front, just a step away, the power at your fingertips, Long Fei's heart has already jumped. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Step by step, Long Fei gradually approached. Finally, take the 9th step. Long Fei has completely come to the eternal life. Boom. A strong will to burst the will, blowing in the face. It is the spirit of Long Fei that has been so strong that it is still shaking under the impact of this breath. But at the same time, this kind of breath makes the dragonfly feel very familiar. It's like this is your own power, it's registered here. Uncontrollable, Long Fei's hands are directly covered on the face. Unbeatable comfort. Just for a moment, Long Fei felt that it was like bathing in an eternal country, time and space forever. This kind of breath made Long Fei almost obsessed and immersed in it for a moment. The thick eternal breath hovered over the eternal life, and passed through the hands of Long Fei to the body of Long Fei. To be exact, it is passed on to the soul of Long Fei. Suddenly, Long Fei opened his eyes directly. In the eyes of the fine flashes, a beam of light like a silk thread will shuttle in the eyes of Long Fei. The soul of Long Fei is beginning to increase at a speed visible to the naked eye. If you compare the soul of Long Fei before, it is a small stream, and now you can open it again and open it. Almost a moment, the whole consciousness of Long Fei was nearly a few times stronger. Long Fei's eyes are blurred, and the whole person seems to be dragged by the eternal life. When both hands move, the eternal life will be pushed. Bang! A huge friction sound appeared, and the entire cover was also pushed by Long Fei, revealing a little gap. At this time, a very strange scene happened. In the moment when Long Fei strove to push open, a pair of hands directly explored from the shackles, just like pushing the sash from the inside out, directly overlapping with the power of Long Fei. Together. Bang! The lid is pushed more and more open, and the eyes of Long Fei are like a magical obstacle, showing endless desires. I can't wait to devour the power of cockroaches. Yes, at this time, the sound of the system reappears. Hey, the player is stunned and falls into a high-risk state. Hey, the player's life is weak and in a state of high risk. Hey, the player. The system alarm sounded long and reminded again and again. And Long Fei's eyes, at this time also recovered from the obsession of a clear system. High risk. 2 consciousnesses appeared on the heart of Long Fei. The next moment, Long Fei's eyes suddenly widened. Get away from Lousy. A roar, Long Fei broke out directly. The eyes are full of anger. I didn't think of it at all, but I almost got it. I just felt that my strength is extremely compatible with the power released by this eternal life. There is even a voice in my heart, as long as I refine this power. Then, you will truly control the way of eternal life. Heaven and earth are destroyed and I am not destroyed, the sun is ruining and I am immortal. Therefore, Long Fei only reads everything and wants to push this eternal life. Unexpectedly, all this has actually inspired the rejection of the system. Directly explode high-risk warnings. Long Fei also believes that the system will never be out of thin air. For a long time, although the system will not be reliable, it is very harsh on him. But between life and death, there have never been mistakes. Therefore, for a moment, the instinct of the heart is trusted, so that Long Fei is directly awake. In the moment of waking, Long Fei felt that this seemingly infinite force was exactly the opposite of what he thought. This power is emanate from the eternal life. But in the continuous stream of the soul of Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei also found that his half-body was already entering the embarrassment. What makes Long Fei puzzled is that there is no existence in the hustle and bustle at this time. There is only a kind of whirlpool that is invisible. As if in the hustle and bustle, it leads to another world. No. This eternal life is too mysterious. What happened? Why is it that I am the Lord of eternal life, but I still can't control it? Long Fei thought of it, very depressed. But now, Long Fei does not dare to continue to explore. If one is not good, I am afraid it will be planted inside. As soon as I read this, I will reach out and put the eternal life together again. However, just in the moment when this is about to happen, Longfei's eyes stunned and the body retreated a few steps in an instant. Because, in this moment, there was a person in the hustle and bustle of nothing. And this person, not someone else, is himself impossible. Longfei's heart is as cold as ice and sinks directly into the bottom of the valley. Numerous question marks appear in my mind, and are accompanied by an unknown panic. This kind of panic is stronger than when facing the patriarchs of Shanghai and the elders of the elders, even when they are respectful. The kind of visible enemy, the big deal is hard, the dragon flies without fear. However, this kind of unknown makes Longfei feel panic. Chapter 4492. Chapter 4492. Between this eye, let the dragon fly. A big shock. Mom sells the batch, in the eternal life, how can it be my own? Still, who is who? Longfei's heart is puzzled. Feeling incomparable. It is clearly the Lord of eternal life, which is what has been shaped in the temple of eternal life that year. Therefore, Longfei will not be able to control the power of eternal life. I did not expect that this eternal life is just a flower shelf. Many mysteries are still unclear. One day, I must open it completely and see what it is. Longfei's heart was extremely unwilling. But I dare not continue to try. Even the system must be reminded of high risk. This risk, Longfei does not want to touch. Or, you can't touch it now. Immediately, Longfei felt his own state, and the power of the soul was not small. But there is more power above the spirit. That is the power of eternal life. Even if you just want to tear your own soul into the embarrassment, but also the power to the dragon's soul. In other words, today's Longfei, there is already a trait on the soul. That is the power of eternal life. Moreover, this eternal power is not the same as before. This power is thoroughly rooted and really belongs to him. The power of eternal life, used to attack, is too wasteful. I have the blade of the king, there is the hand of the avenue. These means are enough to sweep. But on the power of the soul, facing some old things, there are still some shortcomings. If this is the case, then turn this power into a kind of spiritual crush. Longfei thought of it. Thinking, Longfei also directly chooses to retreat. Sitting on the ground directly on the knees of eternal life. Because now, Longfei is an ideology. To consolidate the soul, it is undoubtedly the best choice on this eternal life. What Longfei didn't know was that at this time in the secret room, the night child Mai has also regained his return. Looking at the dragon fly in the closed eyes, there was a worry in his eyes. Dragon, what is your origin, and what power is it? The night child is faint. But the voice did not fall, her body changed. A cold rush of thought broke out from her body. How? You should not like him? Oh, it's ridiculous. Even if he is not extraordinary, he is destined to be a dead person. Whether it is evil thoughts or us, within the plan, he cannot continue to survive. The end of Tongxian Road is their death. Suddenly, the night child turned to the front and said, "The tone is cold and cold." But as soon as the voice fell, there was a struggle on her face. Immediately, the face of the night child became very confused. No, this world is already like this, why must we win it? Night child Mai said. But only one sentence, the expression changed again. If Longfei is awake, it will be shocking. Because from then, the change of the night child can already be completed in an instant. It is like a coexistence between two people. Feel free to convert. At this time, the two had a difference in their attitude towards Longfei. Obviously, the night child in the normal state is not fighting the cold side. Almost no chance to speak. Because of this world, it is under our control. Those who are against the sky have only one dead end, absolutely not allowed. And on the road to Tongxian, I believe that evil thoughts will also arrive. At that time, it is when we devour each other, complete one, and regain the sorrow. However, this kid can give him a chance to become a messenger under my seat and can make a dog around him. The night child said coldly, watching Longfei, indifferent. But then I will not speak anymore. The personality of the night child is also regaining control. But even so, the face of the night child is still a worried face, looking at the dragon fly in the closed cultivation, sighed, and walked out of the closed room. At this time, with the retreat of Longfei, the entire Shanhaizong was once again in silence. This silence is half a month's time. The disciples of Shanhaizong are also immersed in cultivation. Moreover, there are also 10 people in the inner door who have gotten a chance to become a core disciple. The core disciples are also the same. Among these people, they are smashed and leaped into a new legend of mountains and seas. It can be said that this is the discouragement of the big gate. Even if it is dead, even if it is destroyed, it can use the means of against the sky to remain intact. On the side of Longfei, there has been less attention. At this time, the highest point of Shanhaizong, the land of mountains and seas. Countless mountains and seas are intertwined. Here, it is also the holy land of Shanhaizong. The top 10 elders of Shanhaizong, the top 10 legends, and the cultivation place of the elders are all here. Not only that, even Tongxian Road is also between this infinite sea of mountains. On this day, Shanhaizong went up and down, from the outer door to the legend. Tens of thousands of disciples have gathered here. Among them, the top 10 legends, the top 10 cores, the 1,000 inner doors, and the thousands of outer doors. For the sake, it is the road to Tongxian a few days later. As for the 10 elders, it is also added. If Longfei is here, it will also feel shocking. Because of the faintness of the top 10 elders, there is also the charm of Shanhai Avenue. And these 10 elders were also promoted from the inner door. Oh, this time the Zongmen has been hurt by the 3 sects in order to maintain stability. They all blame Longfei. If it's not such a kid, we don't have to lose so much. The elders of the elders were very angry and looked at the disciples of Shanhaizong in front of them. They were quite angry. Don't care, it's been half a month now, and no one is moving. It should have been indulged in cultivation. But it is also just right, no matter how arrogant he is. This time Tongxian Road, for us, there is no harm. Shanhaizong Master Bamboo in the chest, proudly said. The elders of the elders were slightly indulged, nodded and said, yes, no matter whether he is a success or failure, it is a good thing for us. Cheng, my mountain Haizong jumped into the sky. As for what he does, it is insignificant. If it is defeated, he will only die and repay this sin. Listening to the dialogue between the two people, and not saying a word. Now, he has a fear in the bones for Longfei. So when I heard the discussion between the two people, I could only listen silently and did not participate in the comments at all. At this time, in the mountains and sea behind him, a sudden flash of light, directly cut through the mountains and seas, slowly walked out. At this moment, the top of the vast mountains and seas, all the eyes gathered at the same time. Because of this person, Shanhaizong, the faith in the hearts of all disciples. The first legend, Chushanhai. Chapter 4493. Chapter 4493. Chushan Sea is slow, and walks out from the center of the mountain and sea. Standing in the middle of the hand, the whole body is filled with endless power. At this moment, not only the disciple of Shanhaizong, but also the emperor of Shanhai and the elders of the elders, are attracted by Chushanhai. This mountain seems to have changed. The strength and atmosphere have improved one level before. Even I feel an oppression. Shanhaizongzhu is extremely shocking. As the first legend of Shanhaizong, he naturally pays close attention. It is even too much to say that it is the power of all the sects to support one person. However, the Chushan Sea at the moment gave him a feeling of incomprehensibility. It seems to have changed like a person half a month ago. Not only him, but also the elders. He seems to have been integrated with the whole mountain and sea. Is it true that the elders of the elders seem to have guesses, and the pupils are shrinking? With excitement in the shock, I was extremely excited. Ha ha ha, yes, it must be. The mountains and seas must be merged with Shanhai Avenue, and there will be such changes. Ha ha, I know that Shanhai must have its own cards. No wonder the kid will be scorned, and now control the Shanhai Avenue. Who else can fight against it? The elders are too excited. At this time, for the same thing, Longfei is dismissive. Not for anything else, it is because of Chushanhai. And the same is true of the young lady. The fear of Longfei in my heart is gone at this moment. Originally, He had borne a demon to Longfei and thought that Longfei was too powerful. However, at this moment, with the elders of the elders saying that Chu Shanhai controls the Shanhai Avenue, the fear in the heart is directly dim. When fear is removed, the natural magic barrier disappears. Haha, it's awesome. Sure enough, my first legend of Shanhaizong, this talent, who is fighting? Dog stuff, so cholera my mountain Haizong. Originally because of him, there are still some means, my mountain Haizong still has some uses. But now, I don't need it at all. Sovereign, elders, it is better to attack the outer door directly, to kill them, to be the law of my mountains and seas. Yang Li is tempted. The magic barrier disappeared, and now he said that he felt refreshed. It seems as if I can't wait to bring people to the outside door now, and let Longfei and others give the same to the local fructification. Shanhaizong and the elders of the elders are also in a state of sorrow. For the young lady, they feel speechless. However, in their hearts, this proposal for young lady also changed. Chu Shanhai really merges with Shanhai Avenue. The power of Longfei, in front of them, is simply not enough to fear. Even if it is added to the heavy fairy, it is no big deal. As soon as I read this, the two looked at Chu Shanhai and seemed to want to look at the views of Chu Shanhai. At this time, all the disciples watched the Chu Shan Sea coming out of the mountains and seas, and the eyes were fanatical, as if they were looking at the gods, full of piety. My mountain Haizong's first legend, arrogant. My generation is a model, if one day I can become a brother like this. Hey, you don't scatter your urine to look after yourself, just rely on you. Who can compare with the brothers? The brother is a legend in the world and is destined to be invincible. What is the magic of the town, what fairy in the water, are jokes. Yes, even the so-called madman above the outer door, afraid of being in front of the brothers, can only squat and mad. For the disciples of countless Shanhaizong, they began to whisper. Looking at Lingshan standing in the mountains between the mountains and the sea, the eyes are incomparable. At this time, the eyes of Chu Shanhai, like the people who visited the people, passed by everyone. It seems to be the expression of everyone, so that he is extremely satisfied, and there is a smirk in his mouth. The next moment, Chu Shanhai came to the front of the mountain sea lord. Extremely proud, no other disciples, showing respect. However, at this time, the Shanhai sect does not say anything at all. To this extent, they believe in the creed of strength. There is no doubt that Chu Shanhai already has this qualification, standing at the highest level of Shanhaizong, not to mention side by side with him, even if he is more honorable than him, there is no suspense. Shanhai, you really is a legend, even the Shanhai Avenue can be integrated. After today, my mountain Haizong is enough to win the mainland. Shanhaizong said with excitement. But Chu Shanhai, but it is a sneer, the district is only about the mainland, I want more than just that. Tongxian Road is my stage. I will let everyone know that on the road to Tongxian, I am the only true fairy. Chu Shanhai said, his eyes glimpsed. Then I snorted. As for him, let him squat for a while, and on the road to Tongxian, I will let him know what is sad. Chu Shanhai said a word. Then, the footsteps moved gently, once again in the attention of the people, into the infinite mountains and seas. For a moment, everyone looked dull, like a tribute to the king, until the Chu Shan Sea figure disappeared completely, one by one dare to return to God. At this time, the place where Shanhai Zongshan is located. Before the endless glass palace, the star will be staring at the endless mountains and seas. Integrating Shanhai Avenue? This is killing. But I have to say that there are really a lot of enchantments in these days. Shanhaizong has Chu Shanhai, fearing that it is the other two places, it will not be much different. Dragonfly. You can do this to suppress everything, really invincible, and turn the tide. Will whisper in the mouth of the fairy. However, suddenly, his eyes were another move. Suddenly, from the mountains and seas into the outer door. Here, it is the retreat of Longfei. Boom. At this time, a ***** red color burst into the sky. The endless red mans broke out and reflected the whole world. In the next moment, the figure of the heavy fairy will fly in one step and go straight. Similarly, This scene has also been noticed by everyone in Shanhaizong. However, this time, in addition to the external door and the mountain is also moving, there is no one on the inner door. Even if they make a big noise, they are already indifferent. Not for anything else, just because Chu Shanhai, already in their hearts, is invincible. As for the Shanhaizong and others, they also looked at it with disdain and no longer pay attention. It seems that there is no interest at all that I want to know. Only the Yang standing, but it is a sullen look. Hey, let you have a few days, wait until the road to Tongxian, it is your death. Yang Li said, and he also regained his gaze. At this time, the outer door, Longfei retreat. Endless violent breath mixed with ******** staggered, from a ******* burst. Boom, boom, boom. For a time, the portals of the three retreats were all open. At night, the white deer and the Genma will come out at the same time. And in front of their eyes, a huge bloody, also bursting at this time. Chapter 4494. Chapter 4494. The huge ****** blast bursts directly, and the scarlet color, the horrible energy, is emitted like a shockwave. Boom, boom. The huge impact, one layer after another, directly swayed the power of endless mountains and seas and broke through the sky. At this time, I will also be here. Looking at the eyes, the broken blood, the eyes are dignified. This. What is going on? Asked Zhongxian. At this time, blood stasis was eliminated, and a babe-like Longfei appeared on the ground. The whole body was bleeding up and down. In this blood color, there is also a road to the rhythm of the magic, very powerful. I don't know, I was still preparing to retreat to the realm of people in the 2 days of retreat, but I was awakened by this change. Bai Lu said with a stern look. How do I feel that this guy's body has a taste of the owner? If it is not the same, I am afraid that it will be the master at first sight. Genma said, but also full of doubts. When this was said, the white deer nodded again and again. Yes, if it wasn't the smell of him that was very different from the boss, I almost admit it. You said, will it be the twin brother of the boss? Asked the white deer. I am full of curiosity in the eyes of the white deer, and even want to go back and ask for it several times. But they were all intercepted by the night child. He is not your boss, but he can appear, and has a very deep relationship with Longfei. Night child explained. As for anything else, there is not much to say. After all, Longfei's means are too ridiculous. If you don't see it with your own eyes, you won't believe it at all. Even if she wants to explain, it is not clear. Nod the white deer, saying, oh, you said that this person was made by the boss. This is too good. It's a touch of breath that makes me feel awkward. The white deer frowned and felt an unusual blow. Originally, the breakthrough to the realm of the people, but also want to wait for the clearance, show off in front of Longfei. Unexpectedly, Longfei actually created a fierce person directly. Just breath, you can make him feel depressed. Genma is also hit hard. This period of retreat, refining the essence of Longfei, he has also broken through. Just press it down, no change, still the original appearance. What I want is to show up in front of Longfei and fly to the sky. But now, seeing the Longfei in front of you, this idea is completely gone. The night child is fascinated. Because, let alone she is, I feel a strong impact. It can be said that she witnessed the whole process of Longfei's creation for this person. But I did not expect that it was really successful. Moreover, the people in front of me are still so strong that she is incredible. At this time, the heavy fairy is becoming extremely dignified. Dragon, who is staring out of the bloody, said, his body, the road of mountains and seas, the law of the 9 elders, he has been in control. Not only that, but also a kind of power, but also neutralized several ways, it can be said that the ultimate sublimation. His combat power is already comparable to the peak of people, and there is even a sense of returning to the truth. It can be said that the impact of dragon flying in front of him is strong. It is even stronger than the return of the Shanhai Avenue controlled by the Chushan Sea. Will be a sacred sentence, the white deer and Genma are even more showing a face. Feeling a slap in the face of reality. The face was red and silent. Also at this time, Longfei moved. Reality feels its own strength and then turns the neck. Just like keeping a posture for too long, the posture is already stiff. At this time, he was naked, but was covered by the rime of Shanghai Avenue. There was a cyan gown automatically formed between the endless rhymes. Good. Is this the cause and effect that you said that year? Longfei thought in his heart. The eyes began to flow from the crowd. Will be heavy fairy, will white deer, build a horse, night child charm. Each one is his invisible existence. Now they are standing in front of him one by one. This is not the case. The point is that he does not feel the slightest pressure now. It seems that his cultivation is a force, and he has completely suppressed several people. Thinking of this, Longfei is excited and his eyes are constantly turning, and he is eager to find Longfei's figure. Is he not here? Longfei opened. At this time, the most eager thing in the heart of Longfei is to find someone who dreams of wanting to see. Whether it was for the person of the year or the tie between them, he could not wait. At night, Maisie and others waited for a glimpse. When Longfei opened, he already knew that what he asked was Longfei. Longfei is still retreating. Night Child said. Indifference. Although she does not know what this person is related to Longfei, but it can make Longfei so reluctant, extravagant to use the 9 rules of the mountains and seas, as well as their own strength, to refine a medicinal medicine, to become a person in front of the eyes. It is enough to show the importance of each other. Even more, she also has an illusion. Like the illusion of a white deer, the person in front of him is the other side of Longfei. If it is not too much understanding of Longfei, she may even think that the front is the avatar of Longfei, and the piece that is placed in Shanhaizong. However, Longfei showed arrogance and did not bother to do so. With his combat power, sweeping Shanhaizong, there is no need to do anything more. Therefore, this speculation is denied. At this time, Longfei heard the answer from the knight, and his eyes turned and looked at the secret room where the last door was closed. Then I am here to guard. Longfei said, extremely determined. The knight of Maisie and others looked slightly changed, but in the face of Longfei, no one raised any doubts. At this time, the entire cultivation site was shocked. Then, it was like an earthquake, and it trembled fiercely. Several people began to shake. Even have begun to use force to resist. However, apart from the night singer and Longfei, it is difficult for everyone to control themselves. It seems that a mysterious force is affecting themselves. There is no way to settle down at this time. White Deer and Genma are better, although they feel that it is difficult to control themselves, but they are also able to use their own strength to force their body. But it will be a heavy fairy, but it seems to be rejected by this power. The whole person blew up between the crashes. Well, give it to me. The singer will be screamed, and a rounded trajectory will be drawn in the hand to directly form a shield to protect itself. After doing everything, he will move the corner of the mouth and reveal a disdainful smile. However, this smile has not been fixed, and the face has become a horror. Because at this time, his shield did not hold on for a second, and it immediately turned into a crack. Hey! Boom! The shroud shattered, and the face of the heavy fairy, at this moment, became shock. Chapter 4495. Chapter 4495. Boom. Almost for a moment, the defensive force of the heavy fairy was directly shattered into slag. Okay. So it is so fierce. We'll change the face of the fairy. It was too late to explore what kind of power it was. After a sudden retreat, it was 100 steps away, and it was only after exiting the outer door that the figure was able to stop. The face of the heavy fairy was covered with a gloomy, and the breathing became a little quick. Now, he does not know, this power is aimed at him. The source of these two is not elsewhere, it is the retreat of Longfei. For a time, the eyes of the heavy fairy will shrink, and the eyes will gather together and the light will flash. This power broke out when it was not cleared. Kid. What the asterisk are you doing? It will be extremely dignified. Of course, there is still a trace of doubt. He simply couldn't understand why he was targeted by Longfei. After all, he is now also a camp with Longfei. At this time, the land of cultivation. The eyes of Yi Zimei and others looked at the last secret room at the same time. They can also perceive that this violent and unparalleled power is evolving from this. Even, they can feel that if this force is not excluded from this, perhaps they will not be as good as the celestial being, and they will be directly blasted out. Ha ha ha, the master is the master, have not yet gone out, a force will be forced to retreat the old guy. Jian Ma was excited. He is on the mountain, waiting for too long. The horror of the heavy fairy has been ingrained in his heart. It has always been the most mysterious existence of Shan Haizong. Otherwise, Shan Haizong and the elders of the elders will not be so scrupulous about him. And the white deer, his face looked pity and looked at the ones that were excluded. In his memory, he will have suffered such treatments, and wherever he goes, his eyes are higher than the top, and the world's only singularity is a way of doing things. But now, it was directly bombarded by the power of Longfei. Looking at the look of the face, let the white deer feel a burst of laughter. Old man, it seems that you are not too arrogant, my boss has not gone out, you are shocked back. The white deer couldn't help but say. Hearing the words, it will be a cold, very embarrassing. But surprisingly, there is no rebuttal to the words of the white deer. Only the night child and the Longfei don't care. The eyes of the two men are always locked in the secret room of Longfei's retreat, and they are motionless. At this time, within the secret room, Longfei is still immersed in cultivation. However, the whole person has been covered with a layer of mysterious power. In the depths of consciousness, Longfei is still sitting on the eternal life. The whole person is even more embarrassed. If you are free in nothingness. At this time, eternal life is also releasing a strange and incomparable breath. Ruo and Longfei are one. What is even more bizarre is that above this time, the cover is like a dummy. Just like a big open. Moreover, the whole cockroach has become more common. This makes Longfei at this time, it seems to be sitting in the coffin. But at this time, with the constant eternal power of Longfei, the whole cockroach became more and more solid. Until the dragon flew a breath, this directly restored before. Boom. In the sea of Longfei, there was a violent shower and it became very violent. It is as if at this time, Longfei's knowledge of the sea has become a world. The wind and the cloud will change. In the endless darkness, a light spot rushes wildly, like a fire that smashes the night and dawn, stirring the dragon to know the sea. At this time, Longfei suddenly opened his eyes. Brush it. Longfei's eyes are ashamed, and wherever he is, the sea vibration is directly annihilated. Even the endless darkness in this sea of knowledge has been flattened. Immediately, two spots of light burst out from the eyes of Longfei, and then began to spread, like the light of the morning, breaking through the darkness. For a time, the whole sea of knowledge has become extremely rich and peaceful, like an eternal land, making people addicted. The consciousness of Longfei also began to wake up. Ha ha ha, the power of eternal life has been refined into the blind. There will be no more eye-catching eyes in the future. This eternal life is much more powerful than the eyes of the fire. A look at the illusion, a life-saving machine. Ha ha, arrogant. Longfei laughed. This power is the power outside the system, so after the refining, Longfei directly gave birth to the induction. Know the attributes of this power. In the future, as long as the eternal life is displayed, it is up to you to be the peak of the people, or to return to the truth, even if it is the respected supreme reality. Do not want to use the pressure to suppress lousy. Opening the town of eternal life, closing your eyes and killing people. Newbie. Longfei's heart was stable for a while. Very excited. It can be said that this is an invisible pretending force, the most deadly. As long as the person goes to that stop, the light will be able to force the soul. Repairing to be lower than the dragon, even the courage of the battle will not appear, and directly surrender. This kind of picture, let Longfei be excited. But what Longfei didn't know was that his momentum had changed. Even if you don't have to use it, as long as you open your eyes, the invisible will bring a kind of oppression. Then, Longfei slightly adjusted, looking at the eternal life under his body, his eyes condensed. I am the Lord of eternal life, even if you have more mysteries, one day in front of Laozi will also be invisible. The next time, when Lao Tzu will completely control you. Long Fei said in his heart. Then the consciousness began to recede. In the secret room, Long Fei consciousness returned and slowly opened his eyes. And at this moment, Long Fei consciousness returns, and the eternal moment runs on its own. Booming. Hey! The entire secret room cannot withstand the gaze of the dragonfly, and instantly break. All of a sudden, Long Fei quickly took his eyes back, and his heart felt liver pain. Nima, do you want to hang this way? These things are what I want to take away. Long Fei's heart was speechless, watching the divine nature have been swept away by one's own eyes, dissipating in the uncultivated land of cultivation, and Long Fei once again suffered from liver pain. After Long Fei's glance, the entire secret room has existed in name only, and the spiritual power of Haotian disappeared. At the same time, the door of the entire secret room also burst. In an instant, outside the secret room, the night child is charming, and the eyes of Long Fei instantly look in the direction of the secret room. The white deer and the Jianma are still immersed in the previous shock. However, it immediately sensed the change of the secret room and diverted the line of sight. In front of their eyes, Long Fei's figure slowly appeared. Long Fei mouth smiled and felt the expression of everyone. I wanted to give them a surprise. However, when another was perceived, the smile on Long Fei's face gradually disappeared. Very strong. Then the four eyes are opposite. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Tongxian World, Long Fei said. Chapter 4496. Chapter 4496. In the void, suddenly fell into silence. Long Fei's eyes are also constantly flashing. Formally speaking, this is also the first time he saw the world himself, and met positively. How does this meeting feel? Long Fei responded. The eyes are also the body of the world of the fixed word. Dragon's body has been reborn, faded away from blood, and directly transformed into another person, a real step to the sky. It can be said that the current dragon flying has already been on the top 10 elders of Shanhaizong. Even if it is facing the mountain and sea lords, it is not inferior. All of this is brought by Long Fei. Therefore, Long Fei will open his mouth and ask how this ceremony will be held. I saw the Long Fei mouth slightly moving and said, very good. Feeling unexpectedly refreshing. From the moment I started my practice, I have never felt so strong. And this kind of power makes me more convinced of what the person said that year. Long Fei said. The tone is extremely indifferent. But this, listening to Longfire, is another taste. Between the lines, the world itself reveals a message. That is, it seems that I already know that I will meet myself. Moreover, there is even an existence that Long Fei does not know, and it is in the world of himself. In one thought, Long Fei's heart was shaking. You must know that you have entered this world because of the choices you have made in the face of the conquest of the Dragon Court. In the end, it seems to touch some of the existence before entering here. However, if you say yourself in this world, you already know that you are back. I even thought about it and I would like to see it myself. That result is a bit scary. As soon as I read this, Long Fei became cautious in his heart. Mom, are the old ghosts that were laid out millions of years ago, can cross the time and space, the layout of the world, calculate lousy? In an instant, Long Fei's heart was upset. What he hates most is that others regard him as a chess piece, and his loved ones will forget it, at least for himself. But others, the cliff can't stand it. In the brain of Long Fei, one person who thinks instantly is Longbation. Because Longbation has also come to this world. Even if it fails, it can also be laid out in this world. Thinking of this, Long Fei's eyes became a bit cold, and he couldn't help but ask, who is the person you said? Long Fei asked. The face is also a change. It seems that it was affected by Long Fei's emotions, and his face became a little confused. He quickly explained, I don't know, I just know, he once said, when you break through this world, you will see him. At that time, it is the beginning of the true self, the invincible world. Long Fei said. Then he raised his eyes and looked at Long Fei. He seemed to want to see a little clue from Long Fei's face. But it is impossible at all. At this time, Long Fei, his eyes are condensed, and the power of eternal life will automatically run. Even if it is not targeted at Longfei, this power is not that he can face it. So, don't talk to see the expression of Longfei, just look at it more and you will feel the suppression of the soul. At this time, Longfei, the heart is also in deep thought. Breaking through this world? Really true? How does it sound like something to look forward to? Is it related to me? Longfei's heart is full of doubts. But I can't guess at all. What did the man say to you? Longfei continued to ask. Dragon's expression was loose, and his eyes looked around. When Longfei's heart moved, he already knew the concerns of Longfei. When the eyes are condensed, the eternal life is surrounded by the eyes, and the red is condensed into a separate space, and the two figures are wrapped. Now you can say it, Longfei said. Originally, he did not hide it. Whether it is to build a white deer, or to be a nightmare, Longfei is not an outsider. However, the unsettled factors in the night body make Longfei feel at ease. That person is you, Longfei said. And Longfei, when he heard the world in his own answer, the heart suddenly shocked. Yourself, impossible. Longfei said directly. There is such a mirror world, enough to make Longfei feel amazed. If there is really another one. That world is really messy. At this time, the world's Longfei said again, I said that you are different from me. Between you and me, there is only a relationship between the two worlds. There is no intersection between each other. But he is different. I can feel that he and you are a world to come out. Even, it is coming out of a body. Longfei explained. But the more explained, the more aggressive the dragon is in the heart. Suddenly, Longfei's heart was bright, and one thought was flashing from the top of his heart, and it was extremely exciting. Split. From the past in the Hongmeng world, Longfei caused confusion because of his avatar. After killing the enemy, he did not perceive the shadow of the avatar. To be honest, Longfei has not dared to think about the extent to which he has been practiced. After all, avatars are their own purely intellectual cultivation. Talent can be said to sweep across the world. And unlike myself, every time you enter a world, the system has to be refreshed and you have to start over. But the avatar is full-time cultivation. It is even said that if the dragon flying of this world is really talking about its own avatar, then it turns out that the cultivation of the avatar is already ahead of himself. If it is really a avatar, what is the degree of meditation now? Invincible in the world. Damn, I am looking forward to it. Now the power of the system, among the heavens and the world, Laozi has the confidence to fight. If the integration of the avatar, what respect, what dragons, what is not known, all killed. Longfei's heart is faint. The more you want, the better. There is even a glimmer of expectation in my heart. As soon as I read this, I quickly asked, since he has accounted for so much, has there been anything for you to do? Longfei continued to ask. Longfei slightly raised his head. Yes, he lets you rule this world for you. Longfei said. There are boundless expectations in the eyes. If we say that the previous Longfei is a young boy with a stable front, then now, it's the sharp-edged sword, infinite edge. Do you rule this world for me? It seems that this is also a request for him. Okay, if that is the case, then Lao Tzu will subvert the world and create a new era. Only you will be in the future, Longfei said. The eyes flashed endlessly. However, after the completion, Longfei spoke a bit and continued, if this is the case, then this Tongxian road will become your battlefield. And I will slap all obstacles for you in the dark. Chapter 4497. Chapter 4497. Time flies, and in the past 7 days. In the 7 days, the entire Shanhaizong is also full of people. Nothing, because tomorrow is the way that Tongxian Road opens. On the mainland of Tongxian, Tongxian Road is not the one who wants to go in and can enter. It can be said that including Shanhaizong, there are only 3 places between the heavens and the earth, which control the intersection of Tongxian Road. One is the Dark Emperor. The other is on the water side. However, it does not mean that only 3 people can enter it. The 3 can only say that it is the highest level of representation between the heavens and the earth. Under the control of countless practice martial art. Among these martial arts, Many people who have made great achievements and are talented will also be recommended to participate in Tongxian Road. In the past few days, Shan Haizong has also entered nearly 1,000 people, all of whom are genius disciples among the ancestral gates of Shan Haizong. In other words, this time, the head of Shan Haizong alone, the number of people entering Tongxian Road, more than 20,000 people. Only this point, you can imagine the magnificentness of this Tongxian Road. At this time, the mountains and seas. A group of disciples in the mountains and seas looked awkward. Just waiting for the military order, waiting for the opening of Tongxian Road. And those outside disciples, at this time, are one level lower than everyone else. Although it is also at the top of the mountains and seas, there is no qualification for standing on the mountains and seas. Just standing on a piece of instrument. But this is the case, these disciples have no dissatisfaction. Still like a pilgrimage, looking at the front, the mountains, and the sea. Even if they are geniuses, they are completely proud at this time. At this time, the figure of young Lidi appeared and slowly moved forward. A face is proud and proud, like a asterisk 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 on the top, overlooking all beings. Tomorrow is the time when Tongxian Road is open. You are very fortunate to be able to step into Tongxian Road. Young Li has a leisurely opening. The driving of the top 10 elders is arrogant. It is like this is a kind of charity. The tens of thousands of people underneath did not dare to speak, one by one raised their faces and looked at the sun, as if they were listening to the holy shrine. The disciple of Shan Haizong, whose face is full of passion, seems to have long waited for this day. As for those who belong to the Zongmen, they are full of fanaticism, and the enthusiasm also brings this restraint and expectation. Extremely complicated. But all eyes only show one thing. That is, they are extremely eager. At this time, young Lidi once again said, a thought of the dusty road through the fairy road, the success of one person. Are you ready? Young Li said, his eyes scorned. But the force is extremely high. In a word, the performance is profound. It seems that I am a person who has passed through Tongxian Road. The elders are relieved, we are already ready. The ability to enter Tongxian Road is our supreme honor, and there are still my ancestral disciples, we are fearless. Yeah, what is Tongxian Road? Nothing can stop me. Shan Haizong's footsteps. One more sound. Shan Haizong disciple directly swears, and his eyes are determined. Tongxian Road is not dangerous, they don't know. But they know that Tongxian Road is a fairy road, even if it can't go to the end, but as long as there are some opportunities, you can get the real thing. They practiced in order to obtain extraordinary cultivation. How can you give up when the opportunity is ahead? Don't just say that it is dangerous to say positively, even if it is really dangerous, they will not stop. This is especially true for those disciples who are foreign. For them, Tongxian Road is a chance to go against the sky. How can they make them fear with a word of Yang? Totally impossible. Even at this time, the more Yang said, the more they provoke their endless desire and greed. At this time, Yang Li looked at the reaction of everyone in front of him, and there was a light that was not noticeable in the eyes. Oh, the more you look forward to, the more you just happen. A group of idiots, really, when the road is a chance. It's just a group of you, the chance to become a man and a sea. There are also Longfei, and there will be white deer, and you have no exceptions. However, it is a stepping stone for Shanghai to break through the road. Young Lidi thought in his heart, his eyes were slightly moving, looking at the direction of the door. Suddenly, my eyes have changed a bit. Slightly waved, the top 10 elders who were newly promoted immediately got together. Great elder, what happened? Immediately, someone said. A look of flattery. After all, Shan Haizong is very strict, and young Lidi is extremely powerful. They are naturally respectful. Tomorrow is the time when Tongxian Road is open. Why is there that the kid has no movement? Is it difficult to get back? Young Lidi's eyes were slightly stunned, staring at the outer door where Longfei was. No, this kid made such a big evil at first, and finally bluntly asked to enter Tongxian Road. It is impossible to give up so easily. Not necessarily, maybe by knowing the power of the first legend of my ancestors, I have already feared and dared not go. Yes, it is very possible. Before the 7th, the singer will enter the outer door. After a short time, he will come out. It should be reported to the thief. Suddenly, the elders of the mountains and seas began to analyze. Young lady's eyes followed the words of several people, constantly changing. Shou Bao. But now I want to quit. Impossible. He must go. He won't go. The legend of Shanghai will take the step. Since I am forced to fight in the mountains and seas, I must be prepared to be killed. You, go to the outer door and call the door. Young Li said. In the eyes, the color of the scorpion reappears, and I want to give Long Fei and others to cramps and skins. However, his voice fell. The other savers face each other. No one dares to go. One by one, they are forced to face, looking at the sun, and they are embarrassed. How? As the elder of my mountain Haizong, is there such a point? What does the elder want for you? A group of waste. Yang stood angry and screamed. The anger gradually appeared on the face, and I never thought about it. I would have such a situation. However, despite his anger, the 9 people did not move. The elder, the thief, is too strong. Before he could kill 9 predecessors, then we went to yell, not looking for death. Yes, especially now, the dark boy has already recognized. He did not dare to offend my Zongshan Si, and it will inevitably take us out. Yes, elders, or do you personally take the shot? A few people said. Every time I say a word, the face of Yang Li is getting more and more ugly. Hey, a bunch of waste stuff. Even this little thing can't be done well. I will go to me. The elders will let you know today. As an elder of Shanhaizong, what kind of courage should there be? Get out of my way. Yang stood up and screamed, and then the figure turned and went to the outer door where Long Fei was. Chapter 4498. Chapter 4498 Thing. The outer door, Long Fei retreat. For the whole 7 days, Long Fei and the world's own self were in the secret room and never appeared. The night child's expression is indifferent, simply choose a place directly, and wait for the eyes. But the white deer and the Genma will not be calm. Every time in the past, there is more anxiety in the eyes of the two. To this day, the head of Shanhaizong is ready to open Tongxian Road. 1 person and 1 horse can no longer be calm. No, I can't wait, it's been 7 days, and the boss is still not going out. Shanhaizong is also engaged in mobilizing the conference, and it is true that Tongxian Road is a treasure hunt. A group of idiots, the boss retreats, they jump out of the world, wait for the boss to go out and kill them directly. The white deer is impatient. Anxiety can't be done. However, the door to the chamber in front of us is still closed. Long Fei also has no intention to come out at all. This kind of waiting, so that the white deer's eyes are filled with bloodshot, the body cannot stop moving. Small things, don't run back and forth. When the owner leaves the customs, he will go out. The old man is dazzled. At this time, Genma also opened. Nearly roaring. Obviously the mood is also extremely violent. Hey, beast. If you are not in a hurry, do you need this attitude? Tomorrow's Tongxian Road is about to open. I don't believe in Xiaoye. You don't want to step into Tongxian Road and see the existence of rumors. The white deer snorted and did not give the horse a good look. Genma's eyes roared, waiting for the white deer to breathe. But before he could open the door, he was interrupted by a roar. Immediately, the eyes of the 2 men instantly twisted, directly to the direction of the secret room. I saw that at this time, the door of the Chamber of Secrets had already opened, and a figure slowly came out of it. Boss. The host. The white deer and the Genma were directly greeted. Okay. Long Fei sighed. There will be no words after that. The white deer and the Genma glimpse seemed to have some surprises for the indifference of Long Fei. But I didn't think much, and I looked at it. Only the night is charming, but at this time the gaze is in the secret room. Instinct tells her that Long Fei is weird. At this time, the white deer has already told Long Fei about the passage of things in a few words. Long Fei nodded slightly to see 2 people, Tongxian Road. Long Fei slightly decapitated and looked up at the top of the mountain. Among the scorpions, the roads are glittering constantly. That's it. This time, let this world know that the fairy road cannot stop my footsteps. Long Fei said. After this sentence, the doubts in the eyes of Bailu and Jianma finally disappeared. In their cognition, Long Fei should be so crazy. Haha, boss, let's go out now. It is just now that the disciples of Shan Haizong have gathered together. Let us go out and kill their prestige and let him know that they are the foil on the road. Let them know who is the real protagonist, said the white deer with a look of excitement. I am afraid that the world will not be chaotic. But Long Fei, at this time, is sinking. It seems that what is going on in the fight for the general. And no one noticed that the Knight of the Night was quietly coming into the secret room. In the secret room, with the entrance of the Night Child, Shaman also fell from the crash. The knight's charming eyes also locked in front of the moment. Sure enough, you are the real dragonfly, Night Child said. And in front of him, not who is Long Fei or who. Long Fei's face was slightly stunned, looking at the Knight of the Night, and his mouth smirked. Can't see it, do you know me? I asked myself outside, I used my power to change my body structure and change my looks. The average person can't see it. How did you see it? Long Fei said. Yes, it was not him who walked out of the Chamber of Secrets before. Instead, he used the power of creation to overpromise the world's Long Fei, then changed his appearance, changed his breath, and let him go out. And he is prepared to operate in secret as Dragonfly. Just before I have time to change, the Night Child has already come in. I don't know you, it's just his body, and my strength. I don't even recognize my own strength. Night Child said. Long Fei's expression was suddenly realized. It turned out to be. In an instant, Long Fei will understand the relationship between them. However, this also explains one thing. That is my plan, perfect. Both the white deer and the Jianma can't see the points. As for the lack of contact with others, they will not be seen. At this time, Long Fei no longer evades, and his body twists and screams. Then, Long Fei's face began to change, and the angular distinction was just a blink of an eye. Long Fei's appearance directly turned into the world's Long Fei. The night is full of surprises. This means is not easy to accommodate, not illusion. It can be said that it is fundamentally changed, and it is a god. It seems that you want to use this identity to step into Tongxian Road. But what is the difference? The Night Child was puzzled and asked. In her opinion, Long Fei is too arrogant, and there is never a saying. No matter who the other party is, it is hard work, it is a direct battle. So, what is used, there is no difference at all. When Yang, Long Fei smiled, no explanation. Nothing else, just because of one, that is the requirements of the system. As for this, Long Fei has no way to explain. And it is impossible to explain. Regarding the existence of the system, for Long Fei, it is a restricted area. The next moment, Long Fei directly changed the topic. Let's go, this kind of question doesn't matter. It is the people of Shan Haizong who seem to be hurt and forget the pain. But only half a month later, I really want to see who is giving him the courage, even dare to be so embarrassed. Long Fei said softly. The breath of his body became indifferent at this moment. The Night Child is fascinated, and immediately his eyes turn, it seems to be what he feels. Then I will not say much, just follow the footsteps of Long Fei and walk out of the Chamber of Secrets. At the same time, outside the Chamber of Secrets, White Deer and Jianma, as well as the dragon flying that turned into a dragonfly, looked up at the void. Above the void, a group of mighty people swept through. It is Yang Lidi and others. At this point, Yang Lidi's face was full of pride, and it seemed that he did not put Long Fei and others in his eyes. My day, is this serious? We have not gone to them before, but they took the initiative to find abuse. The white deer smiled and was very surprised. The moment before, he still thought about going to the top of the mountain and the sea to announce a sense of existence. But before they can get the action, the other party has already come to the door. The Long Fei face must have a kind of helplessness. At this time, Yang Lidi and others have come to the present. Especially in Yangli, it is even more proud to stand on the void and look down at Long Fei. Long Fei, Tongxian Road will open tomorrow. You are not ready, waiting for us to ask you. Chapter 4499. Chapter 4499. Young Li is screaming in the right color, as a matter of questioning, with a bit of reprimand. In an instant, above the void, the faces of the other 9 elders became courageous at this moment. After all, even the young sight has no scruples, they are mixed with the sun, and naturally there is no need to fear anything. After all, the sky collapsed with 9 or 6 tall tops. Since young Lady dares to be so unscrupulous, then, there must be your own reliance. Suddenly, a few people moved in their hearts and crossed each other's eyes to reach an agreement. That's right, you really think that Shan Haizong is asking for you? What is the spectrum, how is the sacred road, and we want to inform you. So badly, it is simply not to take my mountain Haizong, not to put Tongxian Road in my eyes. If so, then don't want to enter Tongxian Road through my mountain Haizong, let's go. In a flash, one by one, the sound came one after another. Full of ridicule and disdain. The top 10 elders of Shan Haizong competed to open their mouths, and they were infinitely arrogant. They all reprimanded and despised Longfei. A pair of people who want to drive Longfei out of Shan Haizong. Longfei stood on the land of cultivation and did not move. But above the corner of the mouth, there is a sneer. But the white deer has long been unable to bear it. After several people have not finished, the white deer will be interrupted directly. Old is not a thief, who is the courage to give you? But just a short half-month, dare to jump out? So soon I forgot how my boss used to abuse you last time? The white deer said coldly, and he didn't leave a face, and he went straight back. Hey, you will be white deer, you are too open-minded. Different from the past, are you really arrogant capital now? Tell you, no more. My first legend has been made into a lawless, and now you are jumping over the clown and being vulnerable. Young Li said. The arrogance is incomparable. Furious. In the eyes, they are full of confidence. As before. No, even say it is more arrogant than before. At least before, there will be scruples that will be heavy, and the white deer will be tolerated. Now, because of the Chushan Sea clearance, he has even ignored the heavy fairy. In this way, the white deer can't stand it anymore, and one step directly rushes to the void. Old things, Xiaoye gave you a face. The white deer will step into the sky, and the light of the evil spirit will flash in the eyes, and the breath will surge. Then, there was no pause at all, and a direct slap in the face of the sun. Snapped. A crisp sound resounded between the heavens and the earth. White deer, you are a little beast, you. The next moment, the voice of young Lady appeared directly, full of anger, directly yelling. At this moment, what will be heavy and what is flying is not important. Thinking of the WeChat that has just been erected, the white deer will be slap in the face, and it will fall apart directly, and the mind has lost its sense. I don't want anything, I just want to put the white deer to death. Yes, he is ignoring one thing after all. Because he is facing, is the white deer. A Lian Longfei will feel a secret person, and he can provoke it. Impossible. Moreover, the white deer is not the original white deer. Nearly a month of retreat, his cultivation is also skyrocketing, from the previous heaven, all the way through, until now, to the middle of the man. Coupled with the smell of the evil spirits of the whole body, we can ignore the special strength of Shanhai Avenue. It can be said that his combat power is to sweep the top 10 elders of Shanhaizong, and it is not difficult. So, at the moment, just in the next blink of an eye, the white deer will be shot again. Snapped. Hey! One palm and one palm, falling on the face of young Li, without deviation. I don't know the old things that live and die. I think I have a dog bone. Whatever is not done, Xiaoye does not know, and there is no need to know. I only know that your old dog is looking for a dead end today. The white deer was cold and cold. At this time, the 9 elders behind young Li are also awakened from the wrong moment. Looking at the non-adult shaped young standing that has been hit by the white deer, the heart is cold and cold, like a hail. You will be white deer, you are too much, here is Shanhaizong, you are also Shanhaizongren, how can you be so rude to the elders? Yes, do you want to judge our Shanhaizong? I advise you to stop the loss in time, and immediately release the elders of the sun. Otherwise, today is your death. Even if you are serious, you can't keep you. Suddenly, several elders said. But between the words, their words kept trembled. It is clearly blocked by the opening, but it is betrayed by the body, and it is constantly regressing one by one. However, they simply can't go. When a person's figure retreats to the edge of the void, and wants to retreat, the horse is roaring and directly igniting the thunder of the heavens. In the twinkling of an eye, the black cloud presses the city, and the shackles destroy the sentient beings, coming. Roar. A group of jumping clowns. It seems that Shan Haizong is really no one. Just rely on you to become the top 10 elders. It's a joke. But it's just right, this beast has just changed, and there is no chance to show it. Today, you can't run one. With a roar, the body of the horse began to change. This change has caused the whole mountain to be shaken under the mountain. For a moment, the mountain, the outer door, the inner door, the core, and the mountains and the sea, no one can be spared, and the moment is dark. At this moment, Shan Haizong and other people suddenly changed their faces, and walked out of their own room, watching the horror of the sky, and the eyes locked in the door for a moment. External door? Is that person? He is doing this. Do you still want to huahua Shan Haizong? Shan Haizong's main anger is unstoppable, and his eyebrows are picking up, and the anger is burning, and the figure sways and goes straight to the outer door. At this time, in the outer door, the white deer has been arrogant, and his hand is holding the palm in his hand. And the construction of horses is even more raging, directly transforming. The thunder fire is burning all over the body. The latest 9 elders of Shan Haizong were shivering at this time. No, we are already the top 10 elders of Shan Haizong. Do you want to be enemies with the whole mountain Haizong? Someone spoke. The body has been riddled with the power of the thunder of the horse. Even if they have been used by Shan Haizong, they have got the best of both worlds. However, the difference is still too far. Even if the power of building a horse is not what they can resist. Almost every thunder's power is swept away, and their rhythm of the Tao will collapse. At this time, the figure of the mountain lord descended down. Enough, Your Excellency, isn't it too much? We have done what you asked before. Why do you want to fight? Shan Haizong screamed. And Longfei is also a step forward, taking a deep breath, facing the mountain and sea lord, sneer, said, enough? It was enough. But, since someone jumped out to do things, that Laro Tzu doesn't mind letting history repeat itself. Chapter 4500. Chapter 4500. Longfei said indifferently. At the time of speaking, Longfei's figure also took a step forward and came to the void. Carry on. Longfei once again spoke and uttered 2 words. And with the sound of Longfei falling, whether it is to white deer or build a horse, it is even more unscrupulous. I saw that the white deer had raised the palm of his hand directly with one hand, and the evil spirit smiled and slapped again. Moreover, this time is different from before, this time I only used his own power. Hey! Yang Lidi was directly beaten. Under the slap, the whole person flew out in a flash. Moreover, the body began to shrink at a speed visible to the naked eye, as the oil was dry and the vitality was constantly consumed. It's just a blink of an eye, just like a dead person, full of life. At this moment, the figure of the elders of Shan Haizong also descended. I couldn't help but say that I came directly to the front of Yang Lidi and my eyes were condensed. What strength is this? The elders' faces are unbelievable, and they stand out from his body to the sun. But it is useless at all. For the last time, Shan Haizong's elders used the power of the mountains and seas to use the power of the road to lock the state of the Yang Lidi, avoiding the continued vitality of the Yangli. The white deer, you are too much. Is it going to be a heavy fairy? Is that what you are taught? Shan Haizong said to the elders. The eyes are full of anger. Excessive. Really a joke. This old dog is idle and has no trouble running in front of Lousy. I dare to ask my boss. Is it too much for me? Old things, you are afraid to forget who I am. Before the young man was arrogant, he was not afraid of you. Now Lousy is also a person, will you be afraid of you, said the white deer. A look of disdain. I don't care what Mr. Shan Haizong's elders say. Hello, one will be the white deer. It seems that the heavy fairy will be too fond of you, and I can't say that I want to take the old man today to discipline him. The elders have a strong voice and said coldly, "Housekeeper, I have to see if you have this ability." The white deer did not care, with a word, a body, you must take the initiative. But at this time, the figure of the heavy fairy appeared directly from the first mountain, one step to climb, directly to the outer door void. At this time, the face of the ice will be heavy. Teach him? Do you have this qualification? Zhongzhongmo, is it the comfort of these years, let you forget some darkness? Under the world, who dares to talk about him? Will be heavy and cold indifferent. Below, Long Fei is silent, watching the people of Zhongxian and others confront each other in the void, and the brilliance flashes. However, at this time, Long Fei and the Night Child, who had just stepped out of the secret room, were not allowed to shrink at this moment. If you are serious, let them feel unusual in their hearts. Under the heavens, no one dares to control. This sentence, heard by outsiders, is only a kind of self-blowing. Because he will be a heavy fairy, so no one dares to provoke. But when Long Fei heard it, it was not. The bigger possibility is that it is about the evil spirit of the white deer, and the power that can restrain the Shanhai law. At this time, Shan Haizong was too elder, and the anger in his eyes disappeared at this moment, becoming deep and incomparable. His eyes will look heavy and will see the white deer. You are saying that Shan Haizong is too embarrassed to erupt. But before I finished speaking, I was directly interrupted by the heavy fairy. It doesn't matter. What's important is that I am still there. Call. Shan Haizong's elders, that is, Ji Zhongmo, also took a deep breath and looked extremely heavy. The next moment, he saw a white deer look. This is the case. At this time tomorrow, Tongxian Road will open. When you and your boss go in, you will be fine. Ji Zhongmu said, with a wave of hands, directly forced back the strength of the construction of the horse, the other elders of Shan Haizong from the deep waters. Then, with the long sleeves moving, and then wrapped up in the sun, they will leave. For all of this, there will be no openings for the emperor. It seems that I don't want to tear my face at this time. The white deer can be extremely unwilling. In particular, the moment when he tried to make a shot, he even felt a sense of powerlessness. His power was washed away almost instantly. More than just him, Jianma is even more angry. This old guy is so strong. Jianma is unbelievable. At this time, he refining the essence of Long Fei, the blood is back to the ancestors, and the power is greatly improved. However, there is no use of eggs. In front of the other side, all the power is like a stone cow into the sea, completely stunned by the slightest wave. Old man, is that all right? The white deer also looked at the heavy fairy and asked, and the eyes were not calm. Although you are already a person, but between the plan and the plan, it is not a star and a half. And, Tongxian Road is the place where you have to enter. It is too big to make a fuss now. Then I looked at Long Fei. But I just took a look and then shifted my view. The white deer was extremely reluctant, but he couldn't help but had to return to Long Fei's side. Boss, sorry. Master, sorry. Said white deer and Jianma. Long Fei gently nodded. There is nothing to apologize, you have done a good job. But it's still almost. Because even if it is just what can be done, don't forget, you still have the boss. Long Fei said that the strength of the hands directly condensed, and then the palm of the hand was shot. Boom. All of a sudden, the entire mountain, once again rioted. Even more violent than just now, the waves are soaring, and the mountains collapse. If the endless mountains and seas are broken under this palm, they will be broken. The two people of Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong also turned instantly. Be bold. The thief, you dare. The two opened at the same time, could not help but say, while waving a palm. Hey! Three different forces collide directly in the void. Boom! The breath of endless destruction erupted in an instant, and then swayed out, swept the whole piece of void in a blink of an eye. Rumble. Rumble. At the same time, the entire outer door belongs to it, and the mountains and seas are all broken. Not only that, but with the inner door, the core area has not been spared, and in the hands of the three people, all of them are turned into powder. Dare! In the world of Laozi, I have never dared to say 2 words. Long Fei said the cold, his eyes filled with madness. Even in the face of the 2, there is no fear. In the same way, under this palm, everything is shocking. Shan Haizong and Ji Zhongmo both killed more in the eyes. Looking at Long Fei, my heart is filled with endless killing. Because this time, they repeat the same mistakes. And, more thoroughly. More than before, in the core area, consciousness is completely crushed by Long Fei. Because now, the entire mountain Haizong up and down, all witnessed this scene. Chapter 4501. Chapter 4501. Under one palm, the high and low judgment. Although no one was injured this time, it is important to understand that Long Fei is only one person, but the other party is 2. Kid, you are too mad. Tongxian Road is about to open. I don't want to make a big mistake. Are you really afraid that you are not? Ji Zhongku asked. The sound is full of chill. Sorry, you are really right. Laotsu is when you are afraid. Dragons is a chuckle. There was a relief and madness in the scorpion. Especially after finishing this sentence, the face is surprisingly easy. It seems that it has completely adapted to the current identity. At this time, the dragon-flying deity below is a slight glimpse. I didn't think that the world's own play was so fast. Moreover, arrogance does not violate the sense of harmony. Crazy. Or, in the heart of this world, there has been a crazy seed, and now it is being watered by itself. It has completely broken out and the block is not blocked. It's really fast. Night Child Mai also said openly. Obviously, it is to say that dragon flying appears in front of people in their own capacity. Maybe not learning. Or, he was arrogant, just waiting for an opportunity like this. Because of arrogance, it also requires capital. And now, his strength is enough. Long Fei said faintly. Said, there is also a look of hope in the eyes. Because of the self of the world, it did not disappoint him. Since you can't avoid it, then simply, it's just the end. At this time, the celestial being above the void will also look at Long Fei with a look of arrogance. 1 month. Just a month's time, has it changed? It will shock the hearts of the sense. When dragons shot, he saw that the power of Long Fei had completely changed. Although still violent, but as before, like that hard. On the contrary, it contains a rhyme. However, what shocked him even more is that at this time, the power of Long Fei was much stronger than before, and it was able to slap the power of Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong by 1 on 2. This kind of means, even if he can't do it. As soon as I read this, I will not open the door, but I will look at it. And again, this is the other direction in the void. The white deer and the Jianma have been sluggish in the same place, watching one person and one palm, galloping in the void, arrogant and unparalleled dragon flying, eyes shining. Is this really the boss? Nima is too violent. The white deer's throat is slightly moved, watching the violent dragon fly, the heart is not willing to disappear. Instead, it is a touch of ecstasy and madness. In particular, Long Fei's last sentence made him feel the urge to go to the mountains and seize with Long Fei. Ha ha ha, cool, master, do them. They are afraid. Jianma is also a big laugh. With Long Fei flying ahead, he can be more unscrupulous. However, Long Fei did not answer the reaction of the 2 people, but his eyes were locked in the plan of Zhong Zhongmo and Shan Haizong. Oh, how many years have passed. The first one is so arrogant in front of the old man. Ji Zhongmu said. Oh, it's just arrogant, it's just looking for death. Kid, it seems that the last time we took a step back and let you inflate. But now, you have no use of value. My legendary disciple has already practiced no law, and there is no difference between you and you. Or, I want you to die on Tongxian Road. But now, if you find yourself dead, you can't blame us, and you can't talk. The chief of the mountain sea said. After that, after looking at it, he and Ji Zhongmo looked at each other. Ji Zhongmu nodded slightly, and then the figure flashed directly to the other corner of the void. Would you like to have 2 people come together? Then try it. Long Fei must be both eyes and said. The next moment, Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong, the 2 immediately shot. The figure is like a ghost, and it whispers. With the movements of two people, the whole mountain and sea sects have changed, and the endless mountains and seas have changed. Like a roar, like a roar. What is even more terrifying is that in the mountains and the sea, the land where the mountains and the sea meet, it is a condensed out of a giant mountain, and a sea of heaven. As if it was given the divinity. In an instant, an endless wave of horrific repression broke out, and it was crushed against Longfei. Boss. The two old things that are shameless are actually combined to deal with my boss. I will kill you. At this time, the white deer could not stand it. When the body jumps, it rushes to the past. Genma did not hesitate at this time. Roar. Genma roared and began to change directly from top to bottom. Between the breaks, it has changed from the original size to the near one. The one horn above the top of the head also directly turned into 6 corners. Not only that, but even the wings behind it have become terrifying. Between the two wings, one side of the earthquake, while the wind screamed the clouds, while thundering. Ha ha ha, Lao Tzu can't help it anymore. I wanted to surprise my host. And now is the opportunity. 2 pieces of Shan Haizong, let me die. Among the curses, the body of Genma straddles the void directly. This scene is to let Shan Haizong get everyone up and down, and my heart is chilling. Originally, Genma was in their minds, just like a murderous madman, and he would kill if he did not agree. Now, it has become a lot more than before, and it is like letting them fall into hell, and there is a shudder in the soul. Below, Longfei's mouth also showed a faint smile. Because no matter whether it is the white deer or the horse, he did not let him down. It's not just repairing, it's action. At this moment, it's already letting Longfei's heart touch and treating the two as their own brothers. However, the next moment. The scene that happened, let Longfei double fists, cannot help but want to shoot. I saw that Genma and the white deer were combined into one at this time. The white deer jumped directly to the wings of Genma. Under the leadership of Genma, they came directly to Longfei's body. With your own strength, you should stop this mountain and sea from the top of the mountain and the sea. Boom. However, a loud noise. I saw that the body of the horse was directly crushed, and even the white deer was not spared, and the body fell from the void. At the same time, on the top of the mountain and the sea, a figure slowly walked out. Footsteps on the sea, like a asterisk 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 on the top. Despise everything. Hey, don't be self-sufficient dog stuff, really be invincible. Dare to be so arrogant in my mountain high zone. Don't you tell me, I have already achieved success in Chushan High? The Chushan Sea is in the mountains and seas, and the indifference is said. At this time, Dragons has finally been released. In the hands of a turn, play a soft force to build the horse and save the white deer. Then, when the feet fell, they skyrocketed. There is nothing to do, hurt my dragon's brother, even if you are a god, you have to give me a knee. Chapter 4502. Chapter 4502. Longfei was completely angry. The body has a high degree of warfare, and it is directly on the Chushan Sea above the void. In addition to anger, this kind of warfare also implies another emotion. That is a higher level. Because he is the world of the world, the people of this world. Nowadays, one step into the sky, incarnation of Longfei, naturally want to prove to Longfei, he is not bad. And the entire Tongxian continent, Chushan Sea is definitely the leader in the leader. Therefore, at this time, in the heart of Longfei, there is only one thought, that is, to dry the mountains and seas. At this time, the two elders of Shanhai Taishang and Shanhai Zhongzhu also stopped. As a result, the shadow of the giant mountains and seas between the mountains and the sea disappeared. Shanhai, you don't need to go out at all, but it's a hairy boy. This kind of existence, why do you need to go out, we are enough to suppress. The chief of the mountain sea said. In the words, I vowed. It seems that there is nothing wrong with the two people working together to deal with one person. The sound of the Chushan Sea does not move, step by step, and the words of the Shanhai Emperor are unheard of. Instead, his eyes fixed on Longfei. Is it by you? Do you have this qualification? But it is the power of some Shanhai law that can be arrogant in front of me. I am not afraid to tell you that I have integrated the entire mountain road, and all the Shanghai law is a joke in front of me. And you, but control a few mountains and seas law, dare to arrogant in front of me? I really want to know who is giving you this courage. Chu Shanhai said. A contemptuous look. I don't want to see Longfei in my eyes. And the Longfei eyes are also unconsciously moving. Instinctive turn, with the corner of the eye, looked at the dragon flying below. Longfei's response was more direct, and he thought of 2 words, dry him. This kind of communication does not care about the sound, and Longfei has never spoken. It's just a special exchange between the two. Just a flash of thought can be perceived by the other party. After Longfei got the response from Longfei, his eyes were condensed and he did not say a word. Hands palms, pushed directly out to the void. Rumble. Rumble. With one palm out, the ground shakes the mountain. The mountains and the sea roared, and the large buildings began to collapse under the palm of the Longfei reversal. At this moment, the people above the core of Shanhaizong are evacuated in an instant. In the face of the Longfei, I didn't dare to wait for a minute. Boom. Continuously into pieces. It seems that everything is in the eyes of Longfei and there is no scruples. Everything can be destroyed. Run. This person is a madman. The last time was the core area. This time it was even more unscrupulous. Did you want to ruin our entire Shanhaizong? Well, what if he missed Tongxian Road? I have waited for a few hundred years before I waited for such an opportunity. Suddenly, with Longfei shot, the disciples who were still at the top of the mountain and the sea began to complain one by one. Drinking constantly. In their eyes, Longfei is a madman. If it is not Longfei, now they are enjoying the respect of others and preparing to enter Tongxian Road. But now, because of Longfei, everything has become uncertain. Now, the only thing they are craving is that Longfei has been suppressed. Only in this way can everything be the same. At this time, Shanhaizong's elders and Shanhai lords also shot. However, it is not aimed at Longfei. Instead, it directly draws the shadow of the mountains and seas and protects them, so as to avoid the influence of Longfei on Shanhaizong. Similarly, Chu Shanhai also shot. Not self-reliant. Chu Shanhai looked at the action of Longfei and snorted. Immediately cover the same palm. Boom. It was another roar. However, this power is obviously more violent than the power exerted by Longfei. Falling from the sky, wrapped in the supreme pressure, directly on the palm, will cover the power of Longfei. Booming. The power of Longfei was directly annihilated. Just as Tong Chu Shanhai said, his power, which originated from Shanhai Avenue, was not enough. For a time, the figure of Chu Shanhai became the only one above the mountain and the sea. All eyes are on the past and full of admiration. This is gone. Haha, it's a joke. It looks like a slap in the face. As a result, I am killed by my legendary slap, and I laughed at myself. This Nima is really the best thing to laugh this year, no one. This is awesome, I can blow for 100 years. In an instant, Shanhaizong's disciples were active. The inner heart of silence is once again awakened. Looking at the Longfei that was silent above the void was full of ridicule. And dragons is also a glimpse at this time. Looking up at Chu Shanhai, he frowned slightly. Boss. The host. The white deer and the Genma are also coming to the side of Longfei again, enduring the wounded body and standing in front of Longfei. Needless to say, use their actions to show their attitude. Boss, this guy is too strong, can't do it. Yeah, master, staying in the green hills, not afraid of not burning wood. There will be heavy immortals, they will not dare to die, said White Deer and Genma. Similarly, the dragon flying below is also slightly moving. However, it is not fear, but excitement. Chu Shanhai shot, Longfei's heart is full of desire. Before, when he was refining the world for himself, he felt that the road to the mountains and seas was somewhat unsatisfactory. Originally thought it was because of the power of the body. It is now understood that the so-called mountain and sea road is nothing but a power of the side. The true avenue power is in the hands of Chu Shanhai. Thinking of this, there is only one thought in Longfei's heart. That is to explode the Chushan Sea. Not only that, Longfei's heart has already felt that Chushan Sea is probably a big boss in this world. For the boss, Longfei has always been zero tolerance. But now, Longfei can feel that with this world's own, the cliff is not the opponent of Chushan Hai. Just let him shoot, more is a kind of temptation. Therefore, if you want to explode Chushan Hai, you can only shoot yourself. Mom, let you live a few more days, Tongxian Road, is your death. Longfei hated in his heart. At the same time, Longfei conveyed this idea to the past. Above the void. After receiving the thought of Longfei, Dragons was deeply breathed, and the fists were clenched and full of unwillingness. But he also knows that his current strength is not an opponent of Chushan Hai. But let him retreat so, the heart is unbearable. Therefore, Longfei did not say a word, looked up at Chushan Hai. You are strong, but you are not necessarily invincible. On the road to Tongxian, I will deprive you of everything. Chapter 4503. Chapter 4503. Longfei said coldly. But the voice did not fall, and a burst of laughter appeared. Hey, what do you think is this? I think it is better to pretend. What is the ratio? I am not the opponent of my legendary disciple. Is it on the road? Innocent. I am afraid of fear, maybe my legend, I am too lazy to care about your waste, spare you a dog. Yes, now you are begging for mercy, maybe you can still have a dog around you. A voice. Countless ridicules were uttered from the mouth of the disciples who were selected by Shan Haizong and entered Tongxian Road. At this point, they all smugly on their faces, looking at the Longfei full of disdain. Of course, it is not just them who have this kind of emotion. Before, the 9 elders who were not built in the same place were revived and listened to the words of dragon flying. Picking up in the eyes, want to think. Impossible. What about Zhong Jinjin? We are legendary, you are jealous. Want to think, you can, scream and scream 3 times Shan Haizong is your grandfather, we will open the net. The 9 elders of Shan Haizong said. The haze is incomparable. Before, they were humiliated by the establishment of horses, and now they see themselves gaining momentum, one by one becoming unscrupulous. Grass your ancestors, give you a face. A Chushan Sea will make you confident. Little master is here, you let him kill a try. An old dog, believe it or not, I will kill you. Chushan Hai does not dare to move a finger to Xiaoye. The white deer can't stand it. In the moment when a few people fell, they jumped out and said. At the same time, he looked at the heavy fairy. The meaning is already very clear, that is to let the heavy fairy resist all this. Hey, little beast, do you really think you can do whatever you want? So far, do you think we will still be jealous of the immortal? I will still be jealous of you, I don't need it anymore. My legendary legend has been cultivated as a supreme law. Shan Haizong does not need to guard the mountain elders. You are at best a latecomer. What is great? If you dare to shoot, I am as good as Shan Haizong. Several elders said again. Completely dismissive. If they were put before, they would never dare not put the singer in their eyes. But now, Chushan Hai's shot, the power of the world, directly makes their hearts confident. Ignore all enemies. As the difference shows, they are invincible. The white deer became more and more angry, grinds his teeth, and the power of evil spirits on his body has reached the edge of the explosion. But at this time, the first step will be taken to the white deer, and the wave of the white deer will be suppressed. Reassured, I am still here, how can I let others bully you? I will pick you up the dog head of these 9 old dogs. The rest, just wait on Tongxian Road to solve it. It will be said by the heavy fairy, and everything is empty and understated. It seems that people like Shan Haizong and Chushan Hai are not in the eye. But he hasn't done it yet. Longfei is a step forward. I don't shoot, not because I am afraid of you. It doesn't want to affect the opening of Tongxian Road. However, some people are too mad. If this is the case, then simply fight. Dragons faintly said. After that, the dragon-flying figure disappeared in an instant. Breaking through the infinite mountains and seas of the sky, I came directly to the front of the 9 elders of Shan Haizong. Hey! When a palm falls, the power of the mountains and seas breaks out in its hands. Don't you dare! The elders of Shan Haizong suddenly changed their faces. I did not expect that things will develop to this point, dare? There is no word in the dictionary of lousy. Let's die. The Longfei sound was cold, and there was no scruples. It immediately slammed into one of them. Boom! The force of the mountains and seas burst instantly, and a terrorist force swayed out in the hands of Longfei, and this elder was also under this palm, and the entire chest was penetrated by a palm. I hate. The elder roared, his eyes filled with endless hatred, and finally fell down, and the dead could not die anymore. At this moment, everyone's sights are all fixed on Longfei. Full of incredible. No one had thought that Longfei would not play according to the routine. Direct shot. Moreover, a shot is so violent, a hit kill. Brush it. In the next moment, the remaining 8 people were all changed, and there was no ambiguity before the face. One by one, the winds of the mountains and the seas fled away. Want to go? Since you have to leave your dog's head, you can't run one. Life. Dragons is another blast. Hey. A figure was also directly hit by Longfei. Immediately, the entire body was also broken, and a mountain and sea law was stripped from its body. And Longfei is nothing but a hand, and then plugs in the entrance dead. A word was again spit out in the mouth of Longfei. Then the power of the hand changed and turned directly into another way of mountain and sea. Unsurprisingly, under this power, it is also an elder of mountains and seas, directly killed by Longfei. Destroy. Life. Own. Seal. Town. However, Dragon still has no performance of stopping, and the performance is followed by a word. And the whole mountain Haizong up and down, also became dead and quiet at this moment. One by one, they looked at each other's eyes, and looked at the 9 elders in their eyes. Under the palm of Longfei, one after another, the heart was grey. Then they knew that they had made a fatal mistake. So, one by one, the figure kept going back. Deeply afraid that Longfei will destroy the elders, they will come to them for trouble. In the same way, Longfei will kill everybody at this time, and will kill the mountain and sea in his body, and then swallow it into the belly. Below, Longfei and the Night Child are silent. It seems that, like you, it is also a lord who is not lonely, not afraid of fear. But, if you do this, don't you be afraid, will you attack it by Shan Haizong? The Night Child asked me faintly. And Longfei, but gently smiled, no, but the so-called 9 elders, but not killed. And, there will be heavy immortals, and this will not happen. Longfei said with a smile, his heart was extremely determined. In fact, it is just like Longfei thinks. On the whole mountain, above the sea, including the Shan Haizong elders, the masters of the plan, as well as the mountains and seas, and the mountains and seas of the Chushan Sea, are unheard of, indifferently watching Longfei killing 9 elders. At this time, Longfei also swallowed the rules of the mountains and seas in the body, and then looked up and faintly said, "Who else? Who else thinks that Lao Tzu thinks? Can you come up and try? Is Laozi really sincere?" Longfei said. The eyes must be, and the eyes are unparalleled. Chapter 4504. Chapter 4504. Longfei stands proudly and kills people like a dog. It seems that he has killed several elders of Shan Haizong, and there is no slight touch to him. The eyes are still full of killings, and they are facing the mountains and seas. And throughout the mountain sea, there is no silence. It is the Chushan Sea, and it is silent at this time. But the eyes of Chu Shanhai are the same, and they endlessly killing. Dog things, you are arrogant, tomorrow on the road to the ferry, is your death. Chu Shanhai said. There is no plan to shoot at all. But this sentence, listening to the ears of Shan Haizong disciples, is another taste. The moment before, Longfei recognized. They are extremely arrogant. But now, Longfei shot and killed, Chu Shanhai chose not to shoot, as Longfei said before, choose to pass on Tongxian Road. Hey, what? Do you think so? Isn't it a mountain legend? Not a peerless matchless? Is it not the belief of Shan Haizong? Don't be embarrassed. The white deer will be so cool in the heart. The ridicule of the former Shan Haizong disciple was returned to the original. In an instant, countless Shan Haizong disciples bowed their heads directly, their faces were blushing and full of anger. Chu Shanhai did not give any explanation. After saying that sentence, he immediately retired. Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong were suddenly forced. Looking at the disappearance of the Chushan Sea, his face is gloomy. It can be said that this time, they are the real face sweeping. History repeats itself. It was another 9 elders who were directly killed. Moreover, it is still killing in front of them, which is tantamount to directly hitting the face. What makes them feel even more shocking is that Chu Shanhai has gone. I thought that Chu Shanhai was able to cross the Longfei. In this way, the face of Shan Haizong is proud to be preserved, and it is also possible to kill chickens and monkeys, which is the name of Shan Haizong. Therefore, before the flight, Longfei did not stop it. In order to give Chu Shanhai a chance to shoot, I want to let the name of Chu Shanhai spread all over the world through the body of Longfei. And the death of the 9 elders, they are in order to highlight the strong dragon, and then a strong road to kill by Chu Shanhai. Therefore, when Longfei violently killed 9 people, they did not shoot. However, I did not expect Chu Shanhai to go straight. Let all their opportunities fall through. It can be said that the lost elders lost their faces. However, now that Chu Shanhai is gone, even if they want to shoot, they should also measure it. Because of the dragon flying here, all are high-end combat power. Even if it is a horse, it can also ravage the core disciples of countless Shan Haizong, not at one level. Coupled with the white deer, the heavy fairy, and the Longfei 3, they are helpless. One thought of this, the faces of the 2 are even more depressed. Hit, can't fight. Retired, there is no such face. For a time, it can only be made deep in the void, staring coldly at Longfei. At this time, the white deer saw that Chu Shanhaidu had already retired, and his heart was more proud. Come, your legend has gone. Who else, stand up. Without my boss, I will let you know what is called despair. Very arrogant. The white deer has been fearless and the winner is in the grip. Because for him, the biggest threat is the elders of Chu Shanhai and Shan Haizong. Now that Chu Shan Sea has left, there is no threat as long as there is a Longfei and a heavy sacred mountain. Everything is enough to push horizontally. At this point, a dead silence. The more the white deer is arrogant, the more people are Shan Haizong. It's like an old saying, the difficulty is like a spring, and if you are weak, he is strong. At this time, the white deer, for Shan Haizong, is a huge stone that is pressed in the heart, cannot be pushed, cannot avoid. Therefore, one mountain Shan men people can only gnash their teeth, and they are extremely resentful. But in the end, no one dared to speak. Dragons is also a face, wrapped in an invincible position, swaying above the void, overlooking everything. But at this time, I will open the door. Since it can't be played, forget it. Now, no one will be good for anyone. Isn't Chushan Si said? Wait until the road to Tongxian is higher, so simply let it stop. Will be said to the heavy fairy. As soon as this was said, Shan Haizong's people were relieved. Just like a machete hanging over the head, it is finally taken away, without the pressure of death. However, the white deer is not happy. Old man, which side are you on? Said the white deer hate. I am very dissatisfied with this choice of the heavy fairy. After that, look at Longfei, boss, how can we get it? Ask the white deer. Obviously, it has been left to the words of the heavy fairy. Dragons is slightly indulged, and the corner of his mouth is slightly provoked. There is no interest in suppressing these people. It's better to wait for the road. Compared to them, I would like to know more, if Chushanhai is completely dead, how desperate they will be. Long Fei said that the momentum on his body was slightly reduced. Then, no more words to say, turned and step by step toward the broken cultivation. The white deer sighed and sighed, and the face was stunned. Obviously, Long Fei is in its mind and its position is extremely heavy. The construction of the horse is also a slam, ready to retreat. As for the people of Shan Haizong, I dare to say a word at this time. Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong glanced at the coldness, and his eyes were detaching from the white deer and the Longfei. But in the end, I still did not say a word, and eventually left, stepping into the boundless mountains and seas, disappeared. At this time, above the void, those disciples who were fortunate enough to enter the Shanhaizong and enter the attached Zongmen of Tongxian Road have long been scared. Even though they are among the sects, they also have the name of genius. I also lived in the world and wanted to win the best name. But now, seeing the Battle of Longfei, all eyes are collapsing. There is no hope in the eyes. The heart is dead. With them, I still want to fight on the road of Tongxian. There is absolutely no possibility at all, any hope. It can be said that one reads heaven and one goes to hell. The moment before, I still felt that as long as I entered Tongxian Road, I would be able to make progress and become a world lower. But now, there is only endless despair. Nothing else, just Longfei is too strong. Strong enough to make them shudder. Therefore, as the Shanhai clan retreats, he also followed. Below, Longfei did not care about shrugging, and this result was also expected by him. Don't wait for dragon to fly, and step back to the place of cultivation with the night. At this time, the figure of the heavy fairy will follow. The kid, Tongxian Road will open tomorrow, and the kid will be handed over to you at that time. And, on the road to Tongxian, be sure to beware of the Dark Emperor and the people on the waterside. Chapter 4505. Chapter 4505. Time passed by. Overnight, the entire mountain high zone was silent. On the second day, the sky was not bright. A shock swept through. The sea roared and directly awakened everyone. Longfei's eyes are condensed. Tongxian Road opened. For a moment, with the dragon flying a word. The white deer, the 96 horses, the night child and the world's Longfei all come to the spirit. However, the current form is dominated by Longfei. Therefore, Longfei did not say much. And Longfei also knows that he should play at this time, directly saying, "Let's go, Tongxian Road is the ultimate battlefield." Longfei said, "Take the lead." Then, the white deer and others will follow directly. Longfei and the night child are also close behind, but the position is at the end. After a while, several people have already arrived at the top of the mountain. At this time, the mountains and seas have gathered countless people. The Shanhai sect and the elders of the elders are also using their means to bring out the shadow of the mountains and seas, and cross the world, and there is an illusory road between them. In this illusory road, a sigh of excitement emerges from it, as if it is a true immortal force, which makes people want to be happy. "Boss, this is Tongxian Road," said the white deer. The eyes are flashing and full of expectations. After all, Tongxian Road is the most mysterious legend on the entire mainland, not one of them. Even if he has always let go of his way, he is full of desire in the face of Tongxian Road. Longfei nodded and said nothing. In the rear, Longfei's heart is also a slight move. He is not clear about the mystery of Tongxian Road, but it can make the system specially designated as a part of the task, which is a copy for him. The copy, the biggest function, for Longfei, is not experience or treasure hunt. Greatly, according to the heavy fairy, this Tongxian Road basically gathers all the Zongmen forces in the mainland of Tongxian. Like Shanhaizong, there are already more than 20,000 people, so there are only a lot left. 1,000,000 copies. Longfei is also excited. Looking at the road that has emerged in the void, it has been difficult to suppress. At this time, the night child charm seems to be caught in an extremely complicated state. Looking at the sly road in front of him, his eyes are constantly flickering. It seems that this is extremely awesome with Tongxian Road. All of this, naturally, but the eyes of Longfei. Longfei is not known, but the mind has already moved. It seems that this Tongxian Road is definitely not simple. Night child, and little white deer, you are in the end. What is the identity? Longfei thought of it. The eyes hang down slightly. Even there has been a strong shock in the mind, that is, on the road to Tongxian, everything will be decrypted. Including the identity of the night child, as well as the singularity of the white deer, will produce a result. One thought of this, Longfei once again locked his eyes on Tongxian Road, faintly moving. Suddenly, the plan of the emptiness above the emptiness, as well as the master of the mountains and seas, the two men condensed and both closed their hands. Then I was shocked. Break the soul and walk the way. All the way through the fairy, all the way to the soul. On the road to the fairy, life and death by the sky. Can you be prepared? Asked Zhong Zhongmo. The result is clear, the silence of all. Everyone has only endless expectations in their eyes. Even if they know that it is impossible, they want to get a chance on this road. Therefore, it is impossible for anyone to quit at this time. At this point, there is only one kind of information in the eyes of all of them. That is greed. Under the trend of desire, it is impossible for everyone to withdraw at this time. Even the people in the attached ancestral hall of Shan Haizong did not have an opening. I saw the horror of Longfei and the power of Shan Haizong. They have not expected to get any chance to get back on this road. But exit is also impossible. Ji Zhongmu nodded slightly and continued, good, if that's the case, then start going in. However, before everyone goes in, they need to go over a lot of mountains and seas so that you can get into them and find each other quickly. After all, Tongxian Road is very dangerous. You only have to follow my legend, only to survive. Said, Ji Zhongmo nodded slightly to the Shanhai sect. Shan Haizong's main skin laughs, and his mouth moves, dies. Under the spur of the mountains and seas, the mountains and the sea suddenly burst into a mysterious light, and immediately a burst of breath emerged from them. Brush it. 1 minute 2/3 it's just a blink of an eye, and the air of the mountains and seas is turned into more than 20,000. Hey! More than 20,000 words of mountain and sea spirits scattered in the hands of the mountains and seas, and instantly fell into the bodies of countless Shanhai disciples and some 10,000 disciples. Moreover, there are a few scattered ones that come to the impact of Longfei and others. In the heart of Longfei, I heard it directly to Longfei and asked if I could avoid it. Longfei was slightly sinking and shook his head slightly. The mind of the mountain sea master has long been clear in his heart. The so-called mountain and sea spirit is nothing more than trying to understand the whereabouts of everyone. Say what is safe to stay close to you. However, they are all excuses. The real purpose of the Shanhai sect is nothing more than to find their place through this mountain and sea atmosphere. And this is exactly what Longfei wants to control. After all, Tongxian Road is so mysterious that it is too difficult to find someone. But if you let the other person find yourself, it will be much easier to kill them one by one. The experience of getting started, don't be white. Thinking of this, Longfei will tell the current Longfei that he is leading. With the reply from Longfei, the world's Longfei no longer hesitates, saying directly, without resisting, these people just want to find us through this power. This is also convenient for us to hunt. Longfei said. The white deer and Genmar eyes will be bright, and the direct exploration of this mountain and sea device will be integrated into the body. At the same time, on the top of the mountain, Chu Shanhai reappears. Still a kind of unpredictable posture. It's like being above everything else. Shan Haizong disciples listened to orders, and I set foot on Tongxian Road. Chu Shan Hailang said, the gaze of the gaze, looking at Longfei and others, flashed a trace of disdain, like a provocation to make a dagger. Then, take the step and take the road directly. And then followed by a figure directly into it. It was as dense as a swarm of bees, all of which rushed in. Longfei looked at the void and was proud of the master of the mountain and the plan, and snorted, thinking, the road to the fairy in your eyes is in the eyes of Laozi, but it is a super copy. And your legend will eventually become the boss of Lao Tzu. Thinking in my heart, Longfei's heart moved. And Longfei also looked at Longfei at this time. When he saw Longfei nodded slightly, he said, go, let's go in. Chapter 4506. Chapter 4506. On the road of Tongxian, the figures of Longfei and others stood side by side. But the deeper you are, the more you can feel the bursts of scent from it. Beware, this road is estimated to have come to an end. Longfei said. Night Child is also nodding. Yes, this road is just a bridge linking Tongxian mainland. The real Tongxian Road is more horrible than here. Night Child said. Long Fei is smiling and asking, "Do you seem to know how to look?" Night Child winks and blinks, avoiding the eyes of Long Fei. "In short, you will know when you get there. And, on the road to Tongxian, it's not as simple as you think, it's terrible. And this bridge is also incomplete, and it was divided into 3 years ago. So, as long as you reach the end of the bridge, you will be ingested by the power of Tongxian Road. So when we arrive, we may be dispersed into the unknown area." The Night Child charmed the problem of flying dragons and said, "But the front is explaining another problem." Long Fei chuckled and did not continue to ask questions. "However, my heart is more curious about the true style of the night. You know, this Tongxian Road has never been alive and going out. But the Night Child charms can be said so clearly, as if entering the general, how to make Long Fei not shocked. Even, Long Fei has a strange guess. Imagine that the identity of this night will be related to the goddess in the great world. However, everything is unknown, and this kind of guess is feasible, and Long Fei does not know. But at this time, the conversation between the two people made the white deer very uncomfortable and said directly, "Kid, I already know that you are just a foreign disciple of Shan Haizong. If my boss is sorry for you, I will give you a chance. Can you have a chance?" "Impossible. So, you have to remember, it is my boss who has fulfilled you. You should be grateful, you should swear to follow my boss, not to question me," said the white deer, with a bit of badness in his eyes. Jianma is also a hateful stare at Long Fei, with a heavy nose, as if he is already faintly with a few warnings. A dragon flies, and immediately smiles in the heart. In the minds of the two, the Night Child is directly became a big man. Now that his identity and the world of Tongxian are in their own right, they are still walking together with the night. It seems a little embarrassing. And Long Fei quietly looked at the Night Child and looked at it. I saw that the Night Child at this time was indifferent and did not seem to care. However, just in the moment when Long Fei's eyes were recovered, it was discovered that there was a blush on the face of the night. "Oh, woman." Long Fei's heart moved. "I feel that there is a play. Moreover, such a mysterious and powerful, and beautiful woman who does not look like." Long Fei simply did not intend to miss it. But it is not now. After Long Fei listened to the words of Bailu, his eyes moved slightly, but he ignored it and said, "It's better to be careful. If you enter this Tongxian Road, we are too far away, and we will follow the guidance of the mountains and the sea. Get together as close as possible." Long Fei said. It is revealed that this problem has been revealed. Although the white deer is in the heart. But after all, I didn't say much. As time goes by, this road has finally come to an end. At the end, it is a hollow. In the hollow, there is an infinitely eternal breath that bursts out of it. The people of Shan Haizong have also appeared in front of several people. Chu Shanhai turned and said to Long Fei, "Wait, Tongxian Road is your death." Dragons plucking, gazing at the eyes of Chu Shanhai, said, "This sentence is just what I want to say to you, wipe your neck and die. Directly hard to go back." And this sentence is also the meaning of Long Fei itself. It's just that it's just said through the mouth of Long Fei. For Chu Shanhai, Long Fei has not played with the other party, and the system cannot display digital display. But Long Fei can be sure. This cliff is a boss. It is impossible to let him go. Moreover, the purpose of Long Fei to enter this Tongxian Road is to step through the road. Since it is stepping over, it will kill all the dissatisfaction and pass through the road. Therefore, not only Chu Shanhai, but even everything related to Chu Shanhai, Long Fei did not intend to give up. At this time, Chu Shanhai heard the words of Long Fei, and he was unmoved. His eyes were slightly stunned. "I hope that on the road to Tongxian, you still have the courage to say this. This legend, wait for you." After saying that, Chu Shanhai stepped out. It went directly into the endless void. Behind him, tens of thousands of Shanhai disciples followed closely and disappeared on this road. "Boss, absolutely can't stand it. Wait for the first thing to enter Tongxian Road, that is to kill him." The white deer said, his eyes were cold, staring at the direction of Chu Shanhai. Reassured, he can't escape. Long Fei said one, and then went to the end of the road. Soon, a few people came to the empty space, endless unknown and dark voids, making people feel trembled. Especially Long Fei, at this time, the heart is more than beating. Because of this hollow, a very familiar atmosphere instantly emerged. The atmosphere of Wanjie? Is this Tongxian Road, the Star Sea? I am Cao, ha ha ha, if that's the case, then it's awesome. My brother, there is little Invincible, I don't know how you are doing now. Long Fei thought, some can't wait. If this Tongxian Road is really the Star Sea, the first thing Long Fei needs to do is to blast all the way. Although the task of mirroring the world is important, it can only be relegated to secondary times compared to its own relatives and brothers. Thinking of this, Long Fei no longer pauses, does not wait for the dragon flying action, step by step, and first entered this hollow. Brush. In an instant, Long Fei's eyes changed. An intractable force instantly engulfs the dragon. This makes Long Fei's creative power work at this moment. Brush the brush. Numerous scenes whizzed past Long Fei's eyes, and Long Fei's creative power also dominated at this time, breaking free from the **** of the unknown power. However, in front of the scene, I still let Long Fei be shocked. The peaks are stacked and shocking. The towering peaks stand in the sky, and the lonely peaks, like a strong man, stand tall. There are countless broken arm wrecks, and also reveals an ancient and decadent taste, as if a fairy had been sitting here, leaving an endless fairy. I Cao, this Tongxian Road, is also a small world. Long Fei was shocked and looked at everything in front of him, shocked. Cannot wait for Long Fei to think more, a familiar voice appears again. Hey, congratulations to the players entering the Pantheon. Chapter 4507. Chapter 4507 Tongxian Corner Battlefield. Long Fei's eyes can't stop growing. Even though he can now say that the world is wide and wide, he is surprised to hear the prompt of the system. Tongxian Road, is a gladiator? Who is the gladiator? Is it human, or what? It won't be, should all the 9 or 6 people entering each other fight? For a moment, Long Fei's mind was flooded. But the system will not lie, since the prompt, it proves that above the map is a corner field. System, what is going on? The arena? Who fight? Long Fei thought, sinking, asked. Hey, congratulations to the player for triggering special missions to eradicate 90,000 people in the arena. Task difficulty, Level A. Task time, 7 days. Task reward, Tongxian Ranch Pass. Task punishment, eliminate Tongxian Road. The system sound reappears. And then, Long Fei saw his own system interface, about the introduction of the task. I finally realized that this so-called gladiator field has already covered the entire Tongxian Road. Just like a competition, only powerful people can go on. It is also living, and now all the people who have entered Tongxian Road have been covered by such rules. However, unlike Long Fei has system tasks. And they may be because of a certain conflict. But in any case, the final result is the same. Tongxian Road is destined to become a **** place. Those who can really stay are qualified to truly enter the core of Tongxian Road. This is the system's reward this time, the pass for Tongxian Ranch. Want to understand this? Long Fei eyes in a condensate, killing up. For Niu Zime and others, Long Fei is not worried. With their fighting power, it is not difficult to kill some people on this Tongxian Road and get the final qualifications. I am afraid that they will meet Chu Shanhai too early. After all, although Chu Shanhai has never shot, but it can make Ji Zhongmo and Shan Haizong host such a big hope, there is absolutely his extraordinary. Therefore, what Long Fei really worried is that they will meet Chu Shanhai in advance. There should be no such thing, and the real purpose of Chu Shanhai is me. As long as I keep on the momentum and attract the attention of Chu Shanhai, there is no problem. Long Fei said. Long Fei settled in the heart. The eyes are locked on the task. In 7 days, competing for 90,000 people, each time they kill one person, they can get a special mark. Seeing this, Long Fei's eyes are condensed. According to the theory of heavy celestial beings, the number of other forces will not be less. The forces of the 3 parties, at least 60,000 people, plus some other inheritance, this Tongxian road the number should be more than 100,000. I fuck, 100,000 people, I want to kill 90,000 people? Long Fei was shocked. I think the system is really a pit. On the entire Tongxian road, only 100,000 people came in, and others want to get qualified, but they are much simpler than themselves. Basically hundreds of times others. However, in the thought of turning, Long Fei no longer cares. On the road of Tongxian, killing one person or killing thousands of people, there is no difference to Long Fei. Moreover, since the system has set such a task, there must be special intentions. One thought of this, Long Fei directly put down what he thought, and he knew it and started searching directly. However, the area in front of us is too vast, and there is an inexplicable force in the persuasive perception. Even if the power of the dragon and the spirit of the dragon is powerful, it is also suppressed at this time, and the soul is scattered, even the territory of the 100 miles is perceived. Not enough. Oh, if the flower fairy is still alive, it will be fine. Long Fei's heart sank. The flower fairy in the mind flashed. If the flower fairy is still there, with the ability of the flower fairy, it is basically equivalent to hanging on this map. 1,000,000 square miles directly to the eye. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart is a bit sad. But very soon, in the eyes of Long Fei, flashed a firm, "But don't worry, when I come to the end. Even if it breaks through time and space, it will bring you back to life." Long Fei's heart sank and he snorted. Long time has not been forgotten. They walked for Long Fei, abandoned themselves, helped the dragon fly to kill Shen Emperor, and Long Fei naturally would not forget. However, it is too mysterious about life and death. Although Long Fei now says that he has enough power to ride the world, he still can't do it if he wants to resurrect a person who has already completely gone. But Long Fei believes that as long as he keeps moving forward. One day, enter the Supreme Plane. As long as you enter the Supreme Plane, everything is possible. Thinking in my heart, Long Fei suppressed the extra thoughts in his heart, leaving only one idea, that is the competition. After one day, Long Fei's figure went 100 miles. But along the way, in addition to some natural birds and beasts, Long Fei did not see a figure. Even more, these birds and beasts are unusually in existence. There is no power at all. It is equivalent to saying that a little experience will not bring Long Fei. This map is a bit strange. It goes without saying that the existence of a legendary myth, there will still be such a primitive species. Long Fei hands tore off a piece of barbecue to supplement the basic consumption. But in the eyes, it is not calm. Because of this mission, there are only 7 days in total. Now the day has passed and no one has seen it. Moreover, Long Fei even suspected that because he was not the person of the mainland, he was treated specially and directly into a no-man's land. If it is true, don't say 7 days, that is, for half a month, Long Fei can't find anyone at all. And this result is terrible. Long Fei simply could not step through Tongxian Road. Even if it hasn't started yet, it will be expelled directly. No, I have to speed up. Otherwise, it is very likely to be expelled. Long Fei's heart was tight, but immediately the face appeared helpless. Looking at the world, my heart suddenly became powerless. However, suddenly, a flash of incomparable breath passed. Immediately, 1, 2 just a few breaths of time, there are thousands of unsearchable forces, directly appearing in the cover of Long Fei's knowledge. I fuck, Unima is hitting a sect. In an instant, Long Fei's heart is not mad. In the gaze, the light flashes, and he gets up straight and solves the barbecue in front of him. He jumps up and down, like a dry land, and jumps 100 miles. And in front of his eyes, there are thousands of figures. More coincidentally, these people are disciples of Shan Haizong. Among them, the highest is the peak of the real person and the core disciple. So many people are gathered here, is it necessary to set up a base camp? Long Fei thought that the more he thought, the more likely it was. Immediately, my heart began to get excited. In this case, open the infinite brush mode, how much to kill? Chapter 4508. Chapter 4508. When Long Fei's heart moved, he wanted to shoot. At this time, the change is sudden. Because there are more and more people gathered in front of you. Moreover, a personal shadow seems to appear out of thin air, falling directly from the void. It is as if there is a certain transmission matrix method above this void. This general change let Long Fei's figure come to an abrupt end. Long Feiqiang resisted the desire to shoot, stopped on the void, and fixed his eyes. After that, my mind changed and directly changed the power of creation, just like the whole world. Although these people are quite a few, they are still far from the 90,000 people that Long Fei wants. Moreover, Long Fei instinctively perceives that these people will appear here at the same time, not simple. Although his power of the soul can only perceive hundreds of miles, these people seem to be in common, very strange. Therefore, Long Fei's heart wants to know the reasons why these people appear at the same time. It is necessary to look at what is the situation. Long Fei mind emptied, looking down. At this time, the bottom has also been messed up. Ah, what is this place? The 9th battlefield. Where is this? Can you say that we want to kill each other? Well, it's the people of the Dark Emperor. You are careful. A horrified voice broke out from the crowd. And these disciples of Shan Haizong spontaneously gathered together at this time, and they waited for it. Because this second wave of people is not a disciple of Shan Haizong, but a person of the Dark Emperor. In the same way, the people of the Dark Shen Mozong also descended on thousands of people. The most powerful one is already the peak of the real person, and the strongest person of Shan Haizong is equal. Ha ha ha, is a disciple of Shan Haizong, this group of waste, is this not white to give us the head? Yeah, this battlefield will eventually leave 10,000 places. And this time our dark mysterious sects entered this battlefield just 10,000 people, not exactly for us. That's great. These disciples of Shan Haizong are a group of abandoned sons. It is simply the welfare that is sent to us. Compared with the tension of Shan Haizong, the people of the Dark Shen Mozong are excited. Looking at the people of Shan Haizong, it is like a lamb sent to his mouth, full of greed. Long Fei listens to everything in the void. The heart must be. Sure enough. Long Fei's eyes moved and he looked at the person in front of him and sneered. All of this, and really is the same as his guess. He can trigger system tasks, naturally, there must be corresponding restrictions on this road. And now they are talking about the 9th battlefield. It also explains everything. Hey, the 9th battlefield, that is to say, there are 9 battlefields on this Tongxian road? Long Fei's heart was pleasantly surprised. According to the Dark Emperor, the 9th battlefield can leave 10,000 people, so the rest should not be too bad. According to the base calculated by myself, this 9th battlefield should have at least tens of thousands of people. Ha ha ha, cool. Before Laozi was still able to complete the mission, this is the direct coming. When you just kill a few battlefields, aren't you coming? Long Fei was excited and his eyes were shining. At this time, above the entire sky, once again, Xuanguang was shocked, and one figure after another fell from the void. In general, there is no difference. The only difference is that this time it is a woman. A woman of all colors. And these women are all in white, slowly falling from the void, like the immortals. There are some not to taste the fireworks. Seeing this scene, Long Fei is also amazed. It's a person on the water side, ha ha ha, well, everyone on the water side has already come out. It looks like it is enough. Hey, it's a pity that it's a pity. It's a pity that it's a pity. This is not easy. Before dying, let them try a cloud of Wushan. It will not do. If they die, they will not let them go in the world. The dark mysterious people are mad. The light of sinfulness in the eyes is great. Humph. The person on the water side is crying coldly. Then they spontaneously gathered together. For a time, the 3 pillars stood apart and the 3 forces were separated. But at this time, Long Fei above the void is guilty. There are a lot of people in front of you. But in addition to the Dark Shen Mozong people have more than 10,000, the remaining Shan Haizong and the people on the water side add up to less than 10,000. In other words, the total number is only 20,000, which is quite different from what Long Fei thinks. In the water side of the sister, it is better to join hands, the dark mysterious sects are crowded, they are destroyed, and we are tens of thousands of people, just to be able to leave the battlefield. At this time, Shan Haizong said that he was the highest core disciple. Yeah, my sister, we can only survive if we join hands. Yes, these reptiles in the dark, everyone has to smash it, we have teamed up to do them. The disciples of Shan Haizong kept open and their eyes filled with hopes, and they urgently wanted to get a response on the waterside. At this time, people on the waterside also fell into a contemplation. But only for a moment, a woman-headed said, "Good. We work together to deal with the Dark Emperor." After that, the two sides directly joined together. And the dragon flying above the void, watching the scene in front of him, is also entangled. He can kill, but he doesn't want to kill. If it is a dark, mysterious person, Long Fei will not have a psychological burden. With the violence of violence, Long Fei will not care. The people of Shan Haizong will kill when they kill. After all, he and Shan Haizong are now in the same league. However, this person on the waterside has no complaints. If you let Long Fei hurt the killer, there are still some difficulties. However, I changed my mind, and the next sentence on the waterside was to let Long Fei's heart chill, and all the difficulties have disappeared. I don't know if you entered the road to Tongxian Road, the person who killed the elders of Wang is not there, asked the woman headed by the waterside. The madman? Of course, it's coming, but it's useless to come. No matter which battlefield he is on, it's destined to be a dead end. My legendary disciple has already booked his head, and he will die. Why, does the teacher know him? Asked the core disciple of Shan Haizong. I don't know the cognition, but the elders of Wang's elders before the death of Zhong's ancestors, this son since the elders of Wang, we are on the waterside, naturally will not let him easily. The woman on the waterside said. As soon as this was said, Shan Haizong's characters did not have ecstasy on his face. Because the two sides have a common enemy, it will be more logical to cooperate. Haha, my sister is relieved, even though the boy is extraordinary, but on this road, it is also a destined idea. But now, it is still the first to solve the dark mysterious people. Shan Haizong's core disciple said. On the void, Long Fei has a cold eyes, Mom, swearing. I wanted to leave you a life, but now, it seems unnecessary. Since I want to chase down Lao Tzu, if I kill it, I will have no worries. Chapter 4509. Chapter 4509. In the 6th battlefield, the war has started. The sky was oppressed, the darkness was empty, the rolling earth cracked open, and countless mountains and trees were destroyed. The figure of Long Fei is twirling, and the fists are alternated. And his side is built. At this time, Jianma also evolved to a complete state. 2 feet, picking up the thunder of heaven and earth, smashing in the air, shocking the sky. Countless monsters are directly scorched under this power. Become a body. Yes, it is the Yaozu. Master, this time Tongxian Road is weird. Although I entered for the first time, but on the road to Tongxian, there has never been a demon. Because the 3 major sects control, there is no such thing as a demon. But now, this battlefield is basically all Yaozu. Jianma gasped and said to the Long Fei in front of him. In front of him, but the demon army, and he and Long Fei first time, gathered together, relying on the strength of the two, is also invincible. It seems that this time the Tongxian Road is really not simple. Long Fei said. Extremely indifferent. Behind my feelings, there is a big hand in control, just like shuffling. Long Fei said. The entire Tongxian Road gave him an unusual feeling. It's like everything, it's controlled by a pair of invisible big hands. Take him. Anyway, if you survive in this battlefield, then everything is not a problem. Who is obstructing us and killing them directly? To the Master, we can survive thousands of people on this battlefield, but now it seems that we don't need that much, as long as we are 2. Jianma said. Very arrogant in the eyes. If Long Fei is here, you will feel extremely painful. Tens of thousands of monsters. If all of them become experience, how much? It is impossible to estimate, and maybe it is enough for Long Fei to upgrade. Long Fei slightly decapitated and nodded. Okay, then they all smashed them. Long Fei was a deep scream. Immediately, it is boundless killing. And this scene is not just the battlefield. From the 3rd to the 9th, everything is the same. In the 3rd battlefield, Chu Shanhai swept the enemy in an invincible manner, and no one was Sakura. However, there is not much killing in Chu Shanhai. As long as the number of people left is enough, it will not continue. The 4th battlefield, the dragon is the hegemony, the demon chasing the following, the dark mysterious genius suffered heavy losses. The 5th battlefield, the dark mysterious sect of the town of the world, the magic of the world, a force of the sky. The 7th station, the big disciple on the waterside, Zhon Tai Ling Xiu, to turn the tide, such as the fairy, sweeping all enemies. The 8th battlefield is the world of the Yaozu. None of the 3 disciples survived. Until the 9th battlefield, it was still quiet at this time. The 3 sects did not carry out any fighting. Nothing else, just because of one person. That is Long Fei. At this point, Long Fei is no longer hidden. The figure emerged above the void. It's you. Are you a foreigner who was brought in by the madman? I don't think you have already come to the 9th battlefield. But it's useless. Don't expect us to protect you. Your traitor, whoever is close to the madman, will die. Yes, now that there is no madman, you are a dish. As soon as the dragon figure appeared, Shan Haizong's disciples began to scream crazy. A look of disdain. In their view, Long Fei is now seeking to be blessed. At the same time, the person on the waterside turned his face indifferently and looked at Long Fei. Since it has something to do with the thief, then you don't have to think about it. Shamai, you are going to kill him. The woman headed by the waterside was cold and casually said. Because of the fighting power that Long Fei now shows, even the heavens are not there. They naturally won't look in the eye. Even with it, why did Long Fei appear in this area, and they are indifferent? At the moment, they only have one idea, and that is to kill Long Fei first. The people of the dark mysterious emperor are more enjoyable, and they embrace their arms one by one, as if they are winning the same, and they are proud of their faces. Hey, is a person who is open to the world so exaggerating? Useless waste. But it's too much to do. If we want to help you, the dark mysterious sects will help you. Anyway, in the end, you are all dead, and all of them die in our hands, and they can't afford this trip. The people of the dark Shen Morzong said proudly. A look of disdain. Hey. Shanghai Zong people feel shameful, and they clench their fists. But in a blink of an eye, I looked at Long Fei and the killings broke out. At this moment, they all humiliated this, all on the dragon's head. If it wasn't for the sudden emergence of Long Fei, they would follow the previous cooperation, the morale was high, and the Dark Emperor was killed, and there was a chance of winning. When Long Fei appeared, they were excited, but they were stimulated by the dark Shen Morzong. Immediately, the core disciple of Shan Haizong couldn't help but say, Sister, the Dark Emperor is too odious. Only when we shoot, can we stabilize the military and fight with them. On the waterside, the heavenly strongman listened and focused on the key point. Yes, in this case, the sister will take the shot and solve the waste, and then fight the people of the Dark Emperor. Said, the woman looked at one person around her. And the sister in her mouth, at this time, the hands of the bright silver sword, directly out of the sheath. The thief, come to life. A splendid drink, the long sword directly turned to the void, stabbed to Long Fei. Brush. The sword is light and spiritual, just like the fusion between heaven and earth. A sword came out, and the entire 9th battlefield suddenly fell into a hollow stage. But only for a moment, everyone will wake up. Haha, good means, the sword on the waterside, it really is extraordinary. This kid can die under this sword, enough to be proud. Hey, a little person who is not known, it is his privilege. Shan Haizong and his disciples on the waterside opened their mouths, and a flash of hope in the eyes, looking at the dark Shen Morzong, also gave birth to war. The people of the dark Shen Morzong also became a bit more solemn at this moment. Humph. With a cold scream, the people of the dark mysterious emperor looked at Long Fei. The heart is also a hate. For these, Long Fei naturally does not care. Not to mention that it is uninformed and becomes the eye of everyone. Even if it is said clearly, Long Fei will not shrink back. After all, his goal is to turn the crowd. At this time, the woman's sword on the waterside suddenly appeared again. If the restaurant is overturned, it will be stabbed straight. Great sword. Swords falling from the sky. Useless. Long Fei smiled lightly. Although this sword is amazing, it can be for Long Fei. It is the children who play house, and the children play. Hey. The next moment, Long Fei raised his left hand, 2 fingers, and the long sword that fell from the sky was caught in his hand. Hey. The inch is broken. And Long Fei, his eyes are also condensed at this time, and he said to himself, since you have already shot, then the killing, start here. Chapter 45:10. Chapter 45:10. Long Fei's eyes are cold and unparalleled. This 9th battlefield, he shot, then everything is the foil. Brush. When the dragon flew, he explored directly into the void and dropped the sword directly from the void. Then the power of creation will work directly, and this sword will be directly smashed. Is this also called a sword? Long Fei smiled lightly, like the eyes of the gods, swept across the crowd. And this scene, the 3 people are instantly shocked. Especially the woman who shot on the waterside. At this time, she suddenly pulled out. But it is too late. Her figure has just shone with silver, and a group of light has fallen from the sky. It is the flying sword that Long Fei has made this long sword. Hey! A loud noise. The woman who shot on the waterside was directly hit by the sword that was made by this own sword. Even the screams are too late to turn into a pool of blood fog. Sister. A big dog, even those who are on the waterside dare to kill. It's really looking for death. Everyone, kill him first. For a moment, the anger was everywhere. The disciple on the waterside suddenly rises to the sky. In the moment, the light and shadow, between the whole world and the earth, are all over the sword. Between the swords and the shadows, they directly swept the whole world. Brush it. Dozens of disciples on the waterside have swords, and the swords of the heavens are unparalleled, turning into an infinite sword rain. At this moment, even the people of the dark mysterious emperor did not dare to take a nap, and they avoided it, for fear of being affected by this power. But Long Fei, but still silent. Completely ignored. The whole body stood above the void, and looked coldly at each other with swords. Not self-reliant. I never wanted to kill a woman, except for the monks. And obviously, a group of you are all swearing. Long Fei's eyes condensed and killed. There was a punch between them. Boom. Hey. Rumble. A fist out, the power of creation is crazy. And then, the atmosphere of Long Fei's body is constantly rising. In the late days of the celestial beings, in the early days of the real people, between the real people and the late eyes, Long Fei's cultivation is directly stepping into the realm of human beings. And as Long Fei's body is repaired, he is centered on him and directly forms an energy group. Burst. The dragon sighed and screamed. Boom. Infinite power vents out and directly floods the sky. Hey. Then, dozens of female disciples on the waterside of Long Fei's hands were directly wrapped up in this storm, and there was no chance of struggling. Not only that, the power of Long Fei is too violent, and those close to the disciples, whether on the waterside, or the dark mysterious genius, or the disciple of Shan Haizong, have thousands of people also wrapped in this power. Seriously injured. To the people. No, it's impossible. You are just a foreign disciple of Shan Haizong. How could this kind of cultivation be possible? You are still a junk in the past, you. Shan Haizong's only core disciple, horrified. The eyes are full of incredible. I can't believe what I saw at the moment. This is too shocking. Of course, there are not many people in the crowd who can see through Long Fei, and only tens of thousands of people see it. But at this time, the person opened his mouth. Directly caused an uproar. Rumble. In an instant, everyone's body begins to fall back without money. Crazy retrogression. Run, how do you fight? Even people come out, what are we playing? What is the fairy tale? What the world will, is deceiving. There are still 10,000 places, which is completely a big pit. Yes, I want to go out and let Lousy go out. I don't want to enter this fairy road anymore. For a time, the sound of amazement. This moment, what is the dark mysterious genius, what Shan Haizong, what is on the waterside, all are a joke. Don't say that Longfei is an ordinary realm of human beings. It is definitely not something they can compete with. Longfei is also a glimpse. I did not expect that these people will react so strongly. However, just in time, Longfei does not want to delay time. After all, he doesn't have much time. There are only 5 days left, and there is still a long way to go from his mission goals. Therefore, Longfei has no need to hide at all. However, the dialogue of these people also made Longfei's heart deliberately remember. Tongxian Monument. World will. It seems that on this road, there are really things I don't know. Longfei thought in his heart. Slightly raise your head and lock the 3 people in front of you. At the moment, among the 3 sects, except for a few that have been smashed by the peaks of the heavens and humans, the entire 9th battlefield has become a mess. Countless figures overlap, crazy dodge. I want to get out of this battlefield. Just, at this time, the change is sudden. A pressure is directly falling from the sky and directly shrouded. Then, it was a mysterious pattern that suddenly appeared between them. Just like the activation of a certain kind of power, it directly formed an invisible obstacle, and bound everyone to death. Longfei also felt this kind of power at this time. Even he can capture this emptiness and have a very strong will. As if controlling the entire Tongxian Road, you will be able to control everything as you fall. In an instant, Longfei's expression changed. I don't know why, a sudden pressure has made Longfei feel inexplicably familiar. It is as if I have seen it before. But no matter how Longfei thinks, I can't think of an answer. Mom, no matter who you are, I will definitely find you out. But now, it's important to do something right. Longfei's heart must be in the eyes. And just after the dragon flew back, a killing intention was also instantaneously broken. Kill. We joined forces and killed him after winning him. Yes, the 3 factions have joined forces. Only in this way will there be a chance. Among the 3 factions, the highest number of people were made to make choices in an instant, and they attacked. But I don't know, it's just a matter of doing it. The next moment, the dragon flew. With one hand and a fist, a punch hit. Boom. The power of cockroaches broke out in the fist of Longfei, and it was extremely violent. Wherever passed, the entire 9th battlefield is constantly shaking, as if to collapse under the dragon's fist. Not only that, but even the sudden drop of pressure, but also in the bombardment of Longfei, suddenly reduced. However, Longfei did not mean to stop. His eyes were like a torch, his fists were like a dragon, and he punched out with a punch and a punch. Hey! At this time, the figure was also under the power of Longfei, and was instantly blasted out. Heavy fall on the ground. How can you be so strong? Not good. Dark mysterious genius belongs to me, give it to me. The people of Shan Haizong, give me, or you will die sooner or later. The strongest of the 3 have opened their mouths, coagulated with both eyes, and feared abnormally. Chapter 45:11. Chapter 45:11. Countless figures began to counterattack, desperately, and rushed toward the dragon. At this point, they are like trapped beasts. If you want to survive, you can only fight hard. However, they are facing Longfei. Everyone, together, the spitting star can drown him. He won't die, we will die. Yes, let's go together, we have a way to live. The 3 disciples are directly crazy. Watching the 3 strongest people were bombarded under the fist of Longfei, and they were seriously injured. They all collapsed directly. The last hope is extinct. Therefore, there is only one way ahead of them. In the face of life and death, people can always inspire strong courage. For a lifetime, they can only use death to fight. It's a pity that at this time, Longfei is ready to sweep the battlefield, so even if they are desperate, it will not help. Longfei's eyes were condensed, and countless forces swept over. Not moving. The arms were shaken and the fists were held. Stand still directly. Hey! Hey! Countless forces have come down. The sword is light and the shadow is magical. All the power came down and rushed into the station circle. The light of the sky directly filled the entire sky, and instantly drowned the figure of Longfei. Ha ha ha, yes, that's it. The ants bite and kill him. What about people? So many people, he is dead. We are 3 factions, but the most quintessential power of the mainland, he has no possibility of surviving. At this time, a few people who had been flying by Longfei also opened their mouths. They also shot at the moment. They wanted to hit the strength of all the disciples, and they would kill the dragons. Yes, from the beginning to the end, Longfei did not move. Boom. A loud bang, a burst of light broke out in the center of the battlefield. Rumble. The world is roaring. Infinite power broke out in the 9th battlefield. This combination of tens of thousands of people is extremely powerful. It is completely comparable to the power of the human phase. It is Longfei, and it is a slight meal at this time. Some accidents. He did not think that these people now have such a huge force at the same time. However, it is far from reaching the level of fear. You must know that even if you are truly in front of Longfei, Longfei is not afraid. What about them? The ants bite dead, it doesn't exist. There are more ants, after all, ants. How can you bear the giant elephant? I miss this. A sneer appeared in the corner of the dragon's mouth, and both hands appeared and a long knife appeared. To deal with you, using the blade of the kings is a big problem. However, time is not allowed. The first king of the king, the mad dragon town, Longfei backhanded a long stroke and a long knife. Roar. The mad dragon appeared immediately, and the dragon body ran rampage, directly blasting a gap around the crowd. Boom. Countless figures flew out. Was hit by the mad dragon and instantly annihilated. What dragons? This is the power of the dragons, and this knife, you are the madman? I know, you are not a foreign disciple at all. That is the disguise you launched. The core disciple of Shan Haizong saw Longfei's shot, and was awakened by this familiar power. He also exclaimed in an instant. At this moment, his face was grey. When he saw the moment when Longfei got out of the knife, he understood everything. And this also means they will die today. Because of the power of this knife, he is too familiar. Even though he was not a core disciple at the beginning, but for Longfei to smash the core area, the murder of the 9 elders can also be seen clearly in the inner door area. Of course, it's not just him who is shocked. The strongest disciple on the water side is more eclipsed at this time. It's very wrong. Before I thought of killing Longfei, my face was filled with the color of fear. The same is true of the Dark Emperor. The things that Longfei did in Shan Haizong, they didn't know, but at this time they saw the face of Shan Haizong's core disciples, and their hearts had already appeared terrified. And the figure of Longfei, at this time also came out in the endless storm. It's useful to see it. Today's battlefield belongs to me alone. Even if you know it, you won't pass any news. Death is your only way home, Longfei said. Then, the mad dragon swept again, whistling between the vertical and horizontal, and once again rushed into the crowd. This time, it is also a crazy impact. Every time I whizzed, countless figures were hit and flew out, and I was blind. Brush it. Just a moment in time. The shadow of the mad dragon disappeared, and the entire 9th battlefield was also cleared. A knife, just a knife, all dry down. The only ones that can support the body, who have never died, are those who are strong. But even if it is not dead, it is already the end of power. Longfei took the knife, just like the death of the world, step by step. No, don't kill me. Adult, let me go. As long as you let me go, I promise, I am willing to follow you. There are too many dogs walking around Chushanhai. I am willing to be a big dog and solve them for adults. Shan Haizong disciples directly ask for mercy. Killing thousands of people. He didn't even think about this kind of power. The horror of Longfei has become his nightmare. Therefore, the heart of all struggles disappeared at this moment without a trace. There is only one thought in my heart, that is, begging for mercy. After him, several people of the Dark Shen Morzong also came over instantly, Adults. Forgive us. Shanhaizong is a group of dog-like things that can't be trusted. Since adults see that they are not pleasing to the eye, we can kill them completely. Yes, there is still a legend of mountains and seas. If they want to be an embarrassed adult, we will also ask my Zongzhenshi disciple to take the shot. As long as the adults can let us go, everything is fine. The people of the dark Xian Morzong said one by one. Can Longfei, simply not moving. What is the legend of Shanhai, what is the world of Morzong, and the heart of Longfei has never cared. Moreover, like the Chushan Sea, this boss level exists. Longfei will be afraid. Impossible. The existence of such a cliff to explode can only make Longfei have a high degree of war. As for the retreat, non-existent. Moreover, Longfei entered Tongxian Road this time, and there are system tasks in the body. All that is required is violent everything, and it turns over the fairy road. Therefore, their forgiveness, in the eyes of Longfei, has no value. Thinking of this, Longfei said directly, I think too much, I want to kill, than to say what legend, what is the world, even if you are the three sovereigns, what am I afraid? As for you, you can only be a stepping stone on my way to Tongxian, and that's it. Said, Longfei waved his hand. Brush it. The knives flashed, and the bodies of several people were directly cut off by Longfei, and the dead could not die anymore. Also at this time, the system sound appears directly, ding. Chapter 45:12. Chapter 45:12. Hey, congratulations to the player Dragon flying killing the Tongxian Corner battlefield, 23,000 people, gaining 110 billion yuan, Lingyunji 10 billion, and Violent 1 point. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the imprint of the Immortal, 23,000. The system sound appears. But apart from experience, nothing else. As for the imprint of the immortality, it is only a form of systemic task. With the appearance of the immortal imprint, his number of characters began to change, from 90,000 to 67,000. In other words, a mark represents a person's head. And as the entire 9th battlefield was completely destroyed, the will that had come to this world before was also collapsed, and even the power of the banned voids disappeared. 110 billion? Sure enough, the copy is really a holy place to brush. This is the beginning. According to this so-called battlefield rule, the rest will be stronger. But it also means that the experience will be more. Longfei thought in his heart, his eyes flashed. Experience has never been too much. Originally, after the promotion of the super great consummation, Longfei's experience has already increased by 250 billion, and now there are 110 billion. Distance to 800 billion, and further. Even Longfei feels that as long as the 90,000 kills are completed, they can be upgraded. Thinking of this, Longfei's heart moved slightly. Step out and disappear directly on the ground. At this time, in the center of Tongxian Road, a figure of the body descends directly from the sky. Starting from the 3rd battlefield Chushanhai, one after another came down. Haha, sure enough, I know that this is the case, we must be the first to come to our classmates. Yes, there are brothers and sisters, everything is a cloud. What dark mysterious demon, what is on the waterside, is a joke. 10,000 people, a whole 10,000 people. 10,000 mountain disciples, no one fell. It can be said that the entire battlefield was handled by Chu Shanhai. With the mountain Haizong disciple, Enron returned. At this moment, the people belonging to Shanhaizong are all excited. This time, they can survive suddenly, which shows that they have the opportunity to enter the next leg. A closer step closer to the chance they want to get. Chu Shanhai's face is also a proud face. His eyes locked in a huge stone monument in front of him. The entire stone monument stands between the heavens and the earth, extremely mysterious. On the whole stone monument, it is also the glory of the glory, the road is forever cast, people are very yearning. Similarly, with the appearance of Chu Shanhai and others. Above the entire monument, there is also a line of words. Like a sheet metal. The 3rd battlefield, Chu Shanhai, 20,000 enemy. Incomparably distinct, It is like a military medal, recorded in the case. At this time, a figure flickers, directly breaking the sky, and descending with the Supreme King. Then, another magicality came. Rumble. Rumble. Very violent, very mad. It is as if they are the kings who dominate the entire Tongxian road. For a moment, the people of Shanhaizong changed their minds one by one and became nervous. The same is true of the people of the Dark Emperor. When they first arrived, they burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, the people of Shanhaizong are simply weak and terrible, and there are demon people, and on the water side, these people are simply serving food. Well, is the rookie of Shanhaizong already out? I don't think so, I still have a bit of a look. When the people of the Dark Shen Morzone come out, they are directly opposite each other. Originally, two people would not be able to deal with it. Meeting is a life and death vendetta. Nowadays, this contradiction has completely broken out on this Tongxian road. There is no scruples. The disciples of Shanhaizong were extremely ugly at this time. Immediately, some disciples could not help but open their mouths. Dark Shen Morzone is really arrogant, then how do you guess the second coming? Can you name it on the monument? A group of self-righteous idiots. Can't you see that Shanhaizong is the first to go out of the battlefield? The Magic Road Town, the Town Hammer, a group of idiots. The disciple of Shanhaizong did not hesitate, and he spoke directly. Chu Shanhai's eyes at this time also looked at the disciple of Zhenshe in the Dark Emperor. The magic is mysterious, this day is finally here. Chu Shanhai said. What about that? When you were not my opponent, now you can love this Tongxian road, what can you do? The magic sense Shen smiled slightly, and the corner of his mouth flashed a sinister charm. In the eyes, the magic man's flashed. Extremely conceited. It seems that even the Chushan Sea has never been seen in the eyes. Hey, it was the beginning, did you think that I am still the former me? Too naive. At the level of you and me, can a miss be considered eternity? The magical sense, the original words are still valid, this pass on the road is your death. The Chushan Sea is in a chaotic atmosphere, and it is obviously extremely disgusting to the attitude of the magic sense. Yes. Then I will wait for you. I remember I said that next time I meet, I will let you know who is invincible. The magical feelings are not taken for granted, and the scorpion moves, and the cold light bursts. Yu Chushan Sea is burning in anger. But in the face of such arrogant magical mystery, there is absolutely nothing to do. However, the thoughts turned, Chu Shanhai's gaze directly swept to the Tongxian monument. Suddenly, the mouth sneered again and again, ha ha ha, ridiculous. But only in the battlefield killed more than 10,000. And this legend, directly killing 20,000 and breaking, what do you use to compare? Chu Shanhai smiled coldly. At this time, the talents noticed the numbers on the monument. I saw it, under the third battlefield before the mountain. Jump directly out of a number. The fifth stop, the magic sense Shen, the enemy 10,000. In an instant, along with this string of numbers. The people of Shanhaizong suddenly sneered. Ha ha ha, what do you say about yourself? It's not forcing. Tongxian Monument will not deceive people. A group of people who are enchanted, dare to arrogate in front of me and take their own insults. A voice, the people of Shanhaizong suddenly sneered. On the other hand, the Dark Emperor, at this time, is a red face. But the magical sense, but there is no slightest intention. It seems that this number is not a cold. Chu Shanhaishin is proud of it, watching the magical feelings of silence, the heart is more proud. But at this time, on the monument, the brilliance flashed again, and a dark golden light suddenly began to flash on it. Then, a line of words appears directly. The sixth battlefield, Longfei, enemies 21,000. And with it, the two figures came directly from the void. It is Longfei and Jianma. There are only two people. At this moment, Chu Shanhai's face was frosty. Similarly, the gaze of the magical sense is also suddenly seen between the dragon flying, the eyes are slightly stunned, and the killings are bursting. At this time, the gaze of Longfei also saw the Tongxian monument. But just glance at the understatement and stop going. It seems that there is absolutely no interest in the content on this monument. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.